Chapter 401. Different Point of View. Not only those under the sea were panicking, but everyone in the world just took the news as if a cannonball hit their face. In United Asia, specifically inside the Katsuragi family's mansion. Katsuragi Akagi slammed the table on his right, splitting it into two and letting the cup fall to the ground. The tea inside the cup soon wet the floor. Still, the tea was just a small matter compared to what he saw. Kai would be the most reliable ally, but if they were on a different side, like the Katsuragi family, he would be a terrifying nightmare. Ikeda Kenzo looked at Akagi's expressions and shook his head helplessly. He thought, he is indeed a good seedling. I will probably die after everything is over. But I guess my choice of letting him go at that time was the right decision. Earth has hope now. Even if he is on the other side of the earth, I have no qualm. Please don't return here because the situation here is so messed up. Kenzo, what is your thought about this matter? I'm not sure. Even though there are so many testimonies, I haven't seen his fight with my own eyes. Unlike the S-rank magician, Rain, my ability is leaning to offense, so I might be able to fight him toe-to-toe. He sighed. Katsuragi Akagi nodded before falling into deep thought. It seems that Kai Kata's strength has surpassed me. However, I need to keep this lie a little longer. Ikeda Kenzo glanced at Akagi and closed his eyes. I can understand his extreme patriotism. However, even if I had the chance to turn back time, I would choose this side again. Katsuragi Akagi then called his assistant to the room. Sir, how can I help you? It turned out that the assistant remained the same as the one from a few years ago. How is the progress of the Yajima family? We still haven't gotten a single clue other than them suddenly disappearing in one night. I feel like there is another hidden power in United Asia, one that has been outside our awareness this whole time. And do you think I will believe that bullshit? Who the heck are they? The one from the government? If the government had them, they would have enough strength to suppress anyone in United Asia. The same applies to the other leading families. They might have already become the leader of this United Asia. But you can see the proof. There is no one who can rival us. Even the Southern family has been reduced to half of their original power by us. Ikeda Kenzo also didn't believe it. Considering that even the biggest weapon group, Kudo Group, disappeared, no one came to help them. How about the assassins we sent? Unfortunately, sir, the US-based government has tightened their securities. None of our assassins managed to get into the base. The assistant shook her head in disappointment. Akagi clenched his teeth and pinched the bridge of his nose. He had been sending assassins after assassins to US base, only to find them failing. However, we have gotten another information from our informant, sir. What? Next semester, Kai Kata is to become an exchange student in EU base. If we go there as soon as possible, we should be able to bypass their security before it gets tightened like the US base. Good. Send our assassins there. Akagi nodded with a serious expression. Make sure that we all are sending rank A magicians. I understand. I shall arrange it myself. Continue the investigation about the Yajima family. I don't like how this is going. Yes, I shall pass your message. For now, let him enjoy the remaining time he has in the US base. But, are you sure the assassins can do it? Ikeda Kenzo suddenly opened his mouth. Kai's strength was far beyond their imagination, so the assassins wouldn't be enough to handle him. That was what he thought. Surprisingly, Katsuragi Akagi only smiled and explained his plan, which made Ikeda Kenzo scared. At the same time, in a small secret base, Yajima Haruko was sitting in a room watching the television. Her eyes were fixated with the news as Kai's face kept appearing. Next to her was a woman with a mask. She had never taken off her mask this whole time, but if one raised their vision, they would see a pair of white horns coming out of her forehead. She had long, straight black hair that was tied into a ponytail. Emma, do you see that? I am watching the news right now. But her tone was flat, as if she didn't share the same excitement as Haruko had. To think that he already has a star on his shoulder. He is so capable right now. Haruko gently smiled. I wonder when I can see him, until he comes here by himself to settle everything. In the meantime, you'll be under our custody. You said custody, but you are giving me and my family a shelter to wait for the storm to pass. Haruko narrowed her eyes. Unfortunately, I can't say much, but I think it's fine to give you this small hint. I just want you to know that your life might change the direction of this world, so please be careful." Haruko looked down before sighing. "I still can't understand that. At first, I thought that Kai was a hero or something, but it seemed to be not the case. It's not like I love him because of his status, but this curiosity is killing me. I understand that it's hard to contain that curiosity, but everything will be answered when Kai Carter comes here. Fine, I will endure myself. Besides, you promised that you are going to train me. When are we going to start?" "Next week." "All right. Do you think I can fight side by side with Kai after finishing the training?" "No." Such a fast response. Haruko let out a long sigh, feeling slightly disappointed. He is built differently, so you don't need to think much about it. Differently? Such a weird choice of words. She narrowed her eyes and looked at the girl beside her. "Still, I am grateful that you are helping me and my family, especially under the continuous attacks from the Katsuragi family. We just want peace, and your life can threaten that peace. Those who share the same opinion as us will certainly do the same. However, you don't need to worry. You won't be at the same level as him, but you can reach the level of those around him. I will be looking forward to it." Haruko smiled, feeling pretty fired up. "By the way, are those horns real?" Just like the usual, every time Haruko uttered that question, she would stop answering all her questions. Meanwhile, there was another family that looked at this news in a positive light. It was the Campbell family. Yes, Sophia's family. Her grandfather, who taught her during the 3 months of training, watched the news in his study room. Subconsciously, a smile appeared on his face when he confirmed everything the soldiers said with the report he had in his hands. "It turns out that I have underestimated him. If his strength can be considered higher than an S-rank magician, his future is really limitless. There is no doubt that his teacher will lose against him in the near future. After that, things will start to revolve around him." After contemplating this matter for a while, he opened his mouth, calling someone's name. "Nesta, you there?" "Yes, Chairman. Do you need something?" "I want to abuse my position right now." "Sorry, sir. I think I've heard it wrong. As I said, I want to abuse the power I have right now." "Asking for your confirmation, sir. Are you?" "I said this for the 3rd time. I won't say it anymore. I want to abuse my power. This, it will seriously create. You don't need to worry about that. If they come, just tell them to come to me." "Then, may I know what you are planning?" "I am going to become the principal in my beloved daughter's school." "Are you implying the Royal Magic Academy?" "Exactly. Just for a few months, that's all. You can give the current principal a vacation while I am there." "This is going to be hard, sir." The old man let out a long sigh. "It's easy. You don't know anything. Even if you tell the others, they will let me do this. Just shut up and tell them. Besides, I am going to create a big welcome for an exchange student next year." Suddenly, something clicked in Nesta's mind as he asked, "Are we discussing Kai Carter this whole time?" "You just realized it? You need to study more." "I apologize. It was planned that he would come 3 months later, so it slipped past my mind. Anyway, tell those people that I want to do it. May I ask 2 questions, sir?" "Sure. Just don't make it too long." "How far are you planning to go?" "I have my own report about his personality from my daughter. You don't need to worry. I will just play it safe. Whether Kai Carter will stay here or not, it's not in my mind right now. What I want to know is if my daughter will be with him or not in the future." "But I thought Miss Sophia has gotten pretty close to him." "That's not enough. I want more." He shrugged. "All right. I don't want to be bothered with you. Your last question. Your actions. Is it related to the news?" "Yes." Nesta fell silent for a minute before saying, "I understand. I shall inform everyone involved." "Good. I will be waiting for good news." He nodded with a smile before looking back at the news. Things will become interesting soon. Chapter 402. Now is for President Brent to award him with the official medal and star. Thus, what the host said, as Brent put all of his achievement in the last battle on either his chest. This was Kai's 2nd time getting the award in an official event like this, especially the one with all media covering him. Just like the first ceremony, Kai became famous worldwide. The reaction was even crazier than the first one, since this ceremony allowed him to officially become a general. The youngest one in history, as the former record was 20 years old while he was only 19 years old. Everything looked perfect on the television, but the same couldn't be said for him. Huffed. Yesterday was tiring. Kai planted his face on the table while grumbling over what happened yesterday. You only received the medal and talked with some middle-aged men and old men, no? Michelle tilted her head in confusion. Not many attended the ceremony yesterday. Yes, that was the only schedule. However, you needed to add the fact that those people were trying to force a marriage into you shamelessly. Even when I rejected them, they kept changing their words, trying to make me agree to it in some weird ways. Kai's tone was tired, as if it took more stamina than the war. However, Michelle understood Kai's misery perfectly and chuckled. Fufu. So, you needed to come up with a constant excuse. Yes. I thought that your grandfather was annoying, but if he were there, I wouldn't need to suffer that experience yesterday. Ah, how I regretted rejecting him. Michelle couldn't contain her laughter anymore. Her grandfather is annoying. That's a fact that many know. When her grandfather attended the ceremony, his presence alone managed to keep 50% of them away, while he easily handled the other 30%. Kai didn't need to do much since he was only required to keep spouting bullshits for a few minutes, and the award ceremony would have ended without anything big. However, Kai told Nathan that everything would be fine. He shouldn't continue receiving his help because it would look bad to the public. Highs, you have it rough. Tasha laughed. Luckily, you have me. You don't need to worry about traveling because I can simply teleport us away. Yeah, but it's not like we can escape easily from this room. Kai pointed at both the door and window in the room. He had set up a sound insulation magic to prevent any words from coming into the room, disturbing the little peace he had. However, if they took a look at the window, they would find many girls standing in front of the building, keeping their focus on the room to make sure that Kai came out. Suddenly, Dark Michelle came out, hugged and kissed him. She licked her lips and asked, "How about me shutting them up?" Oi! Michelle never thought that she would appear by herself and pulled her hair. What the heck are you doing? Ah. You promised me that I can spend time like this. It seems that I was wrong to give you more freedom to appear. You wouldn't get my permission anymore to appear without saying anything. Michelle snorted. In that case, Michelle clung to his neck while pointing at another door in the room. Let's go there. I have a limited time, so we should do it when it's possible. You. When Michelle was about to erupt, Kai already patted Dark Michelle's head and said with a smile, "Haha, maybe in the future, okay? It's not like I don't like you or whatsoever, but let this progress a bit more, alright? I am sure that you can wait for a little longer." Dark Michelle then released his neck and nodded docilely. "If that's what you want, then I will be waiting. Since you respect my wish by giving me a chance, I won't get too pushy either." Thanks. Kai smiled and kissed her forehead. Unfortunately, there was no feeling in that kiss because Dark Michelle was only a shadow, no matter how realistic she looked. Even so, it was enough for Kai to show his affection. Dark Michelle reciprocated the feeling by kissing his cheek before disappearing while waving her hand. All right, I will leave for now. I am looking forward to our date. Yeah, Michelle let out a long sigh after receiving the power back. How can you handle her that easily? She is nice and understanding. Because you are so passive, she loves teasing you. After all, both of you are the same Michelles. Kai smiled. Bang. Suddenly, the door was slammed open as Shirotsuka Sanai entered the room. Even so, none of them could actually see her due to the mountain of presents on her hands. She even closed the door with her foot and dropped all the presents on the table. "This is yours, superstar," she grunted after getting stuck outside the door for 10 minutes just to bring all the presents from the girls outside. "Thanks for your hard work, teacher." Kai scratched the back of his head embarrassedly. "What thank you? I went through hell just to enter this room." "Ahaha, I can understand that well." Kai nodded in agreement, as he had been enduring it since a few days ago after that news. The reporters kept waiting for him outside his house, and his fan club was born. On one hand, he thanked them since he had everything covered, allowing Tasha to live freely with her power. On the other hand, this change really took a toll on his mind. And Sophia seemed to want to add another flavor to this mixed feeling. "Actually, I have one good news and bad news for you, Kai. Which one do you want to hear first?" "I haven't been in a good mood since 2 days ago, so I want to hear the good news first." "Good news. The school principal has been replaced. In other words, when you come to my school, you won't need to handle the principal because the government is trying to deal with you seriously, And the bad news? My grandfather is the one replacing her. Kai twitched his eyebrows. Just asking, but why would he become the principal? Just theoretically speaking, if we put Sir Nathan and my grandfather face to face in a situation like this, they wouldn't stop talking about their plan for a whole day. So, they are the same type. Kai face-palmed and sighed. Hayes, when can I get time to live peacefully? You won't have it anymore. Haha, serves you right. Sanai laughed as she opened the present, which contained cookies, and ate them. And you are enjoying yourself with the presents. Then, you are going to eat everything? Kai fell silent before correcting himself. Please enjoy. Good. She continued, serving herself with all kinds of snacks from the presents the girls gave Kai. Meanwhile, Kai wondered whether he could still change what had been agreed upon. Can I pay a fee to escape from this situation? No, my base won't take it lightly, and there is a potential of war against each other, which we don't want to see. That's why, just come and marry me. Everything will be solved. Well, we can talk about it in the future. We have something more important going on, Sawyer. Kai let out a long sigh. He soon realized that his words shocked everyone, especially Sophia. Unknowingly, tears came out of her eyes, falling into her cheek. Even Sophia couldn't understand why it happened, and started wiping her tears while asking herself with a confused tone. Eh? What happened? Why was I crying? I was saying that because I knew that everything was going to be arranged, and, after knowing Kai for almost 9 months, she had begun to change and calm down. The desire that she thought was arranged had completely been suppressed by her real feeling. That was why, when Kai said those words, her earlier expectation was shattered, replaced by the genuine feeling. That genuine feeling rejected the idea and created a conflict in her heart, resulting in her tears. Michelle, Ayaka, and Tasha face-palmed. With the addition of Sophia, there were already 5 of them. No matter how they said it, they still had trouble accepting so many people into the family. Luckily, it was not an arranged marriage that forced Kai to marry someone, since he himself said he would consider it in the future. At the very least, they already knew Sophia and her character, so it was easier to swallow. Still, the situation couldn't be more awkward than this. You all get a room already. Sanai let out a long sigh. You bastard. If only you were a bit older, or I were a bit younger, I would eat you already. Teacher, please don't joke. Kai sighed as he wondered how to escape this situation. As the atmosphere became awkward, Evan subconsciously made a small heart on the table with a marker. Inside, he wrote 3 names: Evan, Isabel, and Liesa. Chapter 403, News. Unfortunately, another place didn't share the same sentiment. Father. We have gotten the information from the Bureau. Brian came to meet Nathan, who was currently lazing around in his chair, facing the garden. Nathan raised his sunglasses and narrowed his eyes when he saw the document in Brian's hand. What kind of information? Nathan tilted his head before feeling something bad would happen soon. You should read it yourself. Brian handed the document. Nathan grabbed the document and read it for a few minutes before turning back to Brian with a shocked expression. When was this confirmed? Because of the conflict there and all the process it took, it was around a week ago. Nathan face-palmed as his forehead began to sweat. He let out a long sigh while saying, This is going to be so complicated. What are we going to do, Father? This is already an international law, you know. He thought for a moment and rose before calling Rhea Ross. What? It's rare for you to call me, Rhea's voice echoed. I am going with a bang. What do you think? What the heck are you talking about, old man? Have you gone bald? Nope. I will send you the information I received earlier, and I am going to meet Kai right now. Send me your reply later. Nathan nonchalantly hung up the call and looked at Brian. Prepare our chopper. I want to reach there within 3 hours. All right. Brian nodded and quickly left him alone in the garden. Nathan just sat there and let out a long sigh, staring at the blue sky to calm his mind. I am wondering if there will be a bloodbath or not. Well, I need to call the EU embassy. Never mind, I will just let Rhea do it. Nathan shook his head and walked to the family chopper, flying straight to the school. Meanwhile, Rhea finally understood what he meant by going with a bang. She sat on her usual chair with her hands supporting his head, reading the information. She called the president and asked, Do you know about the information I have received just now from Nathan? Yes, I was the one ordering it. I thought he was going to handle it first, but it seemed the news reached your ears first. We are planning to go with a bang. What kind of bang is this? You should know that this is involving international law, right? It's not that big. I am just going to announce that Kai will be having a vacation in United Asia. Of course, I will send them to China or Korea for a mission to make it look like a mission while on his vacation. With the news broadcasted worldwide, it's a kind of protection from ourselves, threatening them to not touch them. However, I still believe that the Katsuragi family will approach them. With the missing Yajima family, my student will certainly raise his hand. President Brent facepalmed and sighed. And this is going to create a tension between two bases. That's why their government will absolutely make a move to protect Kai's safety, and most likely, the South family will join the battle, turning the country into chaos. For us, it's good since they're going to decline a bit, but we need to take humanity as a whole into account. We can't afford to lose too much, or it will affect us too. Don't worry. I will use the mission to lure the rabbit out of their hole and eliminate them without anyone knowing, unless they are publicizing the fact that Kai kills them, which also shows that they are targeting Kai. The truth won't come to light. Ria smirked, feeling pretty pumped up with this. I see. So your plan consists of two, the vacation and mission. The vacation is like protection to Kai Carter, allowing him to move around the base without any worry. And the mission takes all the attention where those power-hungry people aim him. That's where we end them? Exactly. That's why this is a good idea. I'm only wondering what mission should I have, and I do need to contact the embassy for Sophia, you see. I will deal with the embassy and political thingy. You should find a mission suit for him. And do you want me to send the team that has been protecting him? Probably no. My student is basically a human radar, so no one will get past him. It's enough for your protection squad to eliminate all the assassins coming to this base. As for the rest, I will leave it up to him. All right. In that case, I will make sure that the EU base doesn't get into this picture since it will ruin everything. Brent nodded with a serious expression. Brent, thank you. What are you saying? I was one of the people you saved during the fight against that toad. You might think that you sacrificed half of the people there, but for me, you saved half the squad along with the entire army. Your group will certainly say that. Ah ha ha ha. Ria laughed awkwardly before hanging up the call. All right, I will leave that side to you. Nathan will do the talking. Okay, bye. Ria quickly searched for a mission, wondering whether there was a place she could use to trap all of them. A few hours later, Nathan arrived at the school, storming inside Lion Group's base without wasting any time. Bang. You brat, I have a situation for you. Nathan stared at him with a serious expression. This is grave news. What is it? Kai tilted his head in confusion, because it wasn't usual to see this old man act seriously. Even when he explained the raid mission, he would just nonchalantly explain everything. Your little sweetheart's family, Yajima family, has gone missing. Oh? You were talking about that? Kai nodded calmly, as if he had known everything. What? Why are you not surprised? I already know the situation from her, albeit she doesn't tell me where she's at right now. You have been in contact? Nathan twitched his eyebrows, wanting to burst out his anger. He just worried for nothing. Yes, it's been more than a year already. The Katsuragi family is about to destroy them, so they are taking refuge somewhere. Ugh. Nathan facepalmed and took a seat before slamming the table. I want to beat you up. Anyway, what do you think about a trip to United Asia? I mean, this situation has become too big to just stop it. What do you mean? Because of this news, I plan to send you to United Asia for a vacation that allows you to search your little sweetheart while chipping down Katsuragi family's power. I see. A mission under the guise of a vacation. Kai narrowed his eyes. Yeah, what do you think? You should focus on whether she can follow me or not, you know. Kai glanced at Sophia. Well, I am still an exchange student, so yeah, you need a... Suddenly, her device rang. When she grabbed it and opened the email from her grandfather, she corrected her answer. You know what? I will be following you. The others were obviously confused by the sudden change. Sophia thought for a moment and showed the email to them. My beloved granddaughter, this is a piece of advice from your grandfather. Don't reject your honeymoon. Kai twitched his eyebrows and sighed. Why do I feel that your grandfather is really a special person? He is? Sophia shrugged. I feel like I can get along with this guy pretty well. Maybe letting you inside the family is not that bad at all. Nathan narrowed his eyes and looked at this message while commenting. He should say, make a baby or two while you're at it, but I guess he doesn't have time at the moment. This time, the message from Ria Ross came. Nathan picked it up before staring at Kai. It seems that you are going to Dalian. Kai opened the map and searched for Dalian. Yeah, United Asia has been expanding their border up to Dandong, northeast Dalian. With you getting rid of the beasts in Dalian, they will surely take this to create a temporary base. With the position, they can travel a bit safer to Yantai in Shandong Prefecture. If I am screwing up the Katsuragi family, it's certainly going to be big news. We need something to make people believe that I am there for the better. Exactly. Unless the Katsuragi family wants to admit that they attack you, you are free to eliminate any kind of threats. From my perspective, I can give you a month of vacation, 2 weeks for investigation, and 2 weeks for this mission. What do you think? This is good enough for me. Kai nodded in agreement. When do we leave? It's up to you. He shrugged. When do we leave for the announcement? Oh, we need at least 2 days to arrange the entire event, so probably in 3 days? Kai had predicted that they were going to announce it. With them contacting the EU embassy, they could prepare an answer beforehand, telling that everything was in agreement. This would protect both bases' interests. United Asia had no choice but to step up and started suppressing the Katsuragi family even by a bit. This would force the Katsuragi family to send more people to him, where he could kill them, resulting in significant damage to the Katsuragi family. This is getting interesting. He looked around and asked, what do you think about 7 days from now? Can I buy? Evan raised his hand, but Kai already answered him. You can. I don't have a problem then. She must be overjoyed with this. Evan smiled. That's good. I will send the document later. If you need anything, come to the Graham family. I will stay there for a week. Thank you. Chapter 404. Situation. A few days later, many media gathered. They all were curious about the statement from the government, telling them that they would send Kai to United Asia without an official agreement between the two bases. They all came to this room to listen to what they had to say. Nathan slowly made his way to the stage and looked at the reporters, who were ready to note everything he said. We have decided to allow Kai Carter to have a vacation for 1 month. I know that you all are wondering about our decision, but when you think about it, you will realize that Kai Carter is just a student before he is a general. We wish not to put all the burden on his shoulders. We don't want to be the government, the military that has no strength other than letting a student continuously fight on the battlefield. After knowing that he can go to United Asia, he wishes to help them besides the fact that they almost killed him in the past. That's why I wish that United Asia will take into account his patriotism. This can be counted as a warning as well from us. I won't talk much, since I plan to have this session with QA. If you want to ask, raise your hands and I will answer one by one. Nathan gave them the permissions and every single reporter raised their hand. Nathan chose a random one from the crowd. May we know whether the government is the one suggesting United Asia for the vacation, despite knowing there are so many places we have that can be used for vacation. Nathan closed his eyes and sighed. No matter what we say, United Asia is still his hometown. Even though he is now a citizen, just like everyone, we won't restrict someone from going home. Next. Is there a possibility of him not coming back? Despite having such a talent, United Asia didn't cherish him like our government, so there might be a chance that he is not coming back. That you don't need to worry. The person claimed that he is a US citizen. All we can do is to believe him rather than questioning him. Next. We know that United Asia is in conflict. Isn't it rather dangerous to send him not only for a vacation, but also to help them? You are underestimating him too much. Not many know about this, but his strength is far beyond your imagination. He might be a student, but his strength is considered one of the top 10 in our base. At the same time, he is going with his group. In other words, Kai Carter will be accompanied by 2 S-rank magicians, Shadow Princess Michelle Graham and Lightning Empress Tasha Carter. Even our guardian deity Rain wants to accompany him. But this is his vacation, so we can't allow that. Even so, there are still the number 1 healer, Evan Young, and the number 2 sniper in the world, Isabel Fisher. Other than these two, Sophia Campbell will also come with him. so this is not a matter between both our bases anymore. That's why we hope there is no controversy coming from this vacation. Next. Nathan continued answering question after question. Meanwhile, the news shook United Asia, especially the Katsuragi family. Katsuragi Akagi narrowed his eyes and called his assistant. Do you have any information from our spies? The information from our government. The spies there said that Kai Carter's mission is to help us take the important Dalian of Liaoning Prefecture. That's good. It will be the perfect opportunity to kill him. He thought for a moment and turned to Ikeda Kenzo. I want you to be the one to kill him. Although there are two S-rank magicians, they are still students. I am sure that you could do it, right? Ikeda Kenzo let out a long sigh and nodded. All right, I will go. Good, I will give you the detailed plan later. Ikeda Kenzo only closed his eyes afterward and no one knew what he was thinking. A few days later, they arrived at the airport. Unfortunately, Isabel couldn't bring her group for this vacation due to several reasons, so only 7 people were going to United Asia. As expected, many had been waiting for them in the airport. There were countless fans and media there. He was a kind of celebrity already, even though he was in the military. The trend already changed, especially in this world full of danger. The people with powerful strength would be more impactful than a normal celebrity. He boarded the airplane. To avoid the big crowd, he and his group boarded the first class. Still, Kai couldn't help but laugh when he opened the news again. Shadow Princess and Lightning Empress. What? That's just a code in the military. Every single S-rank magician got it. Tasha shrugged. Right, even those who are not rank S magicians have gotten it, depending on their achievement. For example, yours have been created. Of course, it's from your fans. Michelle smiled. Prince of Sound. Isn't it good? It suits me perfectly. Kai twitched his eyebrows. I heard it's going to be official soon since the government likes it as well. Tasha nodded in agreement. Though Shadow Princess is too good for you. You are just a creepy stalker if we consider your shadow magic. What did you say? You are also not an empress. You are just a human generator. Do you want to start a fight? All right. We are in the plane. Please be civil or you are going to disturb the others. The two looked away and returned to their seats. Kai then came to Isabel and apologized. Sorry that you can't bring your group. It's fine. They understand that as well and treat it as my vacation with Evan. I will pay them back later. Is that so? Kai smiled. Well, it's true, but unfortunately, you need to be with us all the time. It's fine. I know the situation is a bit dangerous, and I am also curious about your hometown. I want to see what kind of useless government could abandon someone like you. Isabel smirked. Ahaha. Anyway, don't mind about me. It's the first time I visit another base, so I'm curious about the differences of culture. Anyway, enjoy the flight. We'll be there tomorrow morning. You too. After her, he finally visited Ayaka, who seemed to be bothered about this vacation. Ayaka was watching a movie, as if trying to distract herself. When Kai came into his vision, Ayaka raised her head and asked, What happens? Do you need me? I just want to talk with you. It's fine. Although many bad memories remain in my head, I won't do something reckless. If it's the previous me, I will probably attack them without hesitation, but I am not who I used to be. That's why, don't worry about me. Is that so? Kai smiled. You have truly grown up. I still remember when we first met, you called me because of my headphones. She looked away, embarrassed. That's my dark past. I was still too rash back then. Right? You came at me in a pretty straightforward way, even in a fight. Haha. Are you coming here just to tease me? Nope. Kai shrugged. I truly want to check your condition. But I guess I shouldn't need to worry. Thanks. Ayaka smiled and waved her hand as Kai slowly walked away. Last but not least, Kai visited the most important person on this trip beside him. One of the most important younger generations of the EU base, Sophia. Oh, you finally visit me. Sophia smiled. Unlike the others, he activated sound insulation magic this time. Kai nodded his head and smiled. Yeah, sorry. Why apologize? She shook her head. I am just someone who tags along. Even so. Anyway, I will give this to you. She handed her device to Kai. However, Kai knew that she was handing the email that she opened for him to read. To put it simply, there are 3 terms. First, nothing can be reported if there is no evidence. Second, I will be following your decision when I am there. Third, most of the time, I should just spend my day according to our previous agreement. Fourth, don't you say there are only 3 terms? Kai twitched his eyebrows, but Sophia only ignored him and continued. I can't go back unless I am pregnant. Never mind. Kai screamed inwardly and asked with a tired expression. It's from your grandfather, I assume. You know my grandfather well. It's because of Sir Nathan, that's all. Kai shrugged. I don't think I will be able to handle both of them together. Same? Sophia smiled. Anyway, that's it. I have told you everything you need to know. Kai nodded. All right then, I think that's all. I will see you tomorrow. Good night. Yep, good night. Sophia waved her hand while smiling, sending Kai off. Kai then returned to his seat. Because they took the late-night flight, he decided to sleep as soon as he reached his seat. Chapter 405, Reaching United Asia. The morning came, and the plane landed on the ground safely. Because they would be greeted by someone from the government, Kai and the others let the other passengers leave first until they were the last people in the plane. Other than the pilots and flight attendants. Let's go. Kai smiled as he looked at his group. They nodded and followed Kai from behind. After thanking the flight attendants and the pilots, he left the airplane and found 3 people waiting for them at the end of the corridor. The leader seemed to be a male with big round glasses, followed by 2 women with fierce eyes. They seemed to be his bodyguards or something. Kai looked at this black-haired man and nodded at him from afar. When he arrived, the man stretched his hand for a handshake. Nice to meet you. I am Hanashita Koda from the Ministry of Defense. Kai Carter. Kai nodded and shook his hand. Suddenly, Sophia felt displeased, especially after looking at the 2 women behind Hanashita. They were staring at Kai with a face of doubt, as if he was just a decoration for the US base. No wonder that Kai Carter left United Asia. Even the weak government can look at the hero of the US base with contempt. That is something hilarious. If he were to be born in my EU base, he might not leave the base because we treated him dearly. Sophia snorted. Obviously, her words pierced the 2 hearts as they turned to Sophia. What? You people are still using the basic equipment to test someone's potential instead of their growth. That's why he has no attachment to the base. Sophia shrugged. Sophia, Kai sighed. That's enough. We are here just to enjoy our vacation, not to spite. Kai narrowed his eyes. Sophia pouted and stepped back. Nonetheless, all the people who came here thought the same thing as Sophia. Tasha and Ayaka still remembered how the government couldn't even protect their talents, especially Tasha, who was regarded as a rank S magician. After stopping Sophia, he smiled as if nothing happened. I would like to apologize for her behavior. No, we are the ones who need to apologize for being rude. Hanashita shook his head helplessly. I have been instructed to guide you around United Asia. I think there is no need for that. It's only been 2 years since I left this place. I still remember the place here. Unfortunately, the government needs to ensure the safety of an important person from the US base. I still don't believe you. After all, there was no way my teacher, Ria Ross, could go around this base without any guide or whatsoever in the past. Kai narrowed his eyes before releasing a bit of his killing intent. What are you planning? The moment they sensed the killing intent, the 2 behind Hanashita quickly jumped out, trying to protect him. But Ayaka and Michelle were already behind these 2 with their fingers on their necks. Hanashita, on the other hand, remained calm and said with an innocent face, I have no plan. My task is to guide you to wherever you want in United Asia. That's all. Kai couldn't believe him easily, considering the current situation of United Asia. There was a possibility of him being the spy that the Katsuragi family planted in the government to monitor him. Hence, he preferred to move alone without any force coming to him. I just want to warn you that it's better to stay away from me. You! The woman behind Hinoshita wanted to rebuke him, but Michelle pressed her neck as if telling her to shut up. You're arrogant. However, the kindness to the people of her hometown still remained in Ayaka's heart, as she only stopped her movement while letting her talk. But she soon regretted that idea after hearing what she said. She chose to press her neck too, like Michelle did. Arrogant, huh? I am not arrogant. Instead, I simply can't trust the government, who couldn't even do anything in the past, saying that they wanted to become my guide. Kai snorted. Hanashita closed his eyes for a second before raising both hands. I understand. I shall report this to my superior. Stopping you here will be detrimental for both of us, so I will let my superior decide what we need to do. Good. Kai nodded and waved his hand, asking Ayaka and Michelle to stop. The two then finally released their necks and returned to Kai's side. Knowing that it was useless to persuade him, Hanashita decided to return. I won't know what will be the decision of the higher-up, so please bear that in mind, Hanashita said before leaving with his two bodyguards. Kai watched them left before sighing. What are we going to do? Let's check out first. We will use teleportation magic to get away from their eyes. All right. The group then moved to the counter to register their name while changing their money. After that, Tasha teleported them to a random location. Kai looked around and found that they were a bit farther from the city since they didn't even step on the asphalt. Listening to their surroundings, Kai assured them, "It's good now. No one is close to us. So, what is your plan? You haven't told us," Michelle asked. Kai took out a document containing the summary of Haruko's information. According to the report, Sakura Haruko was last spotted near Ibaraki in Kanto region, but the specific location was near Tohoku region, specifically Fukushima. I am planning to go there first. At the very least, we know where we need to start the search, so it's good. Michelle nodded, feeling assured that she didn't need to search from the south to the north. Yeah. After 2 weeks, the Yajima family disappeared completely. Of course, only those who were considered to be the core of the family were missing, so we could safely assume that someone was helping the Yajima family for this. Do you mean that either the government or the South family helped them? I believe that the only one who could do this was the South family, because if the government were capable of doing something at this level, it would just make things worse. Sophia narrowed her eyes. I mean, they could save you but chose not to. I couldn't forgive them because they were unqualified to be considered a government. Yeah, I know how you feel. Michelle nodded in agreement. But you need to consider the fact that United Asia has almost all Asia nationalities inside, and their populations are not small. Hence, they are ruling in their own territory, making the government look useless. Ayaka corrected them, not to defend the government, but just to make sure they didn't have a misconception. I know. In fact, this is why the government should have become stronger than ever. After all, if they have the power to govern all those families, they might surpass both US base and EU base in terms of development, said Sophia, as if telling Ayaka that she knew it all. As much as I hate to admit it, it's true. The varieties give strength to the entire base, albeit it's not properly controlled, so the base's development is delayed to this extent. Michelle nodded in agreement. Well, that's their fault. Ayaka shrugged. They let those families snatch the talented people. If people like Kai can be absorbed into the government, they will become the strongest influence in this entire base after 100 years or so, and no one could shake their influence just like our government. That's it. That's why I don't really like United Asia, although I wish I could meet Kai in United Asia, not US base, because I can snatch him easily. Sophia let out a long sigh. Though I don't have that intention anymore. I almost beat you, Michelle smirked. Tasha thought for a moment. By the way, are we going to avoid all the other influences? Yes. I will consider them enemies until proven otherwise. Kai nodded with a serious expression. In that case, we will shake them off continuously without thinking about the media's opinion. After finding them, where are we going to hold the vacation, by the way? Evan asked, completely off topic. Haha. Kai laughed. I don't have a plan for that. You can search on the internet. Ask yourself if you are going to honeymoon in this base. Where do you think you will go? What? You don't have a plan for that? Evan looked at him with a weird expression, wanting to hit him right at this instant. Don't worry. We will search for a perfect place for our holiday. Isabel laughed and patted Evan's shoulder as if telling him it was fine. Anyway, let's go now. We can discuss other things later. Kai decided to end the conversation and looked at Tasha. All right. Tasha nodded and clapped her hand, summoning the teleportation magic circle. From the airport, they needed around a couple of teleportation magic to reach Ibaraki. As soon as they arrived, Kai realized that they were in the forest, surrounded by trees. But to his surprise, no noises could be heard from this forest, until at one point he heard one behind him. Suddenly, Kai heard someone's footsteps behind them and quickly took a look, as he never thought someone could get behind him without being picked up by his ears. The others followed his line of sight and found someone approaching them. However, what made them surprised was Kai's reaction. He pointed his finger at that person and stuttered, You are. Chapter 406. Kai's past 11 years ago. A 6-year-old boy walked back with a girl of the same age. Are you sure about this? Yes. For the first time in my life, I have finally found something I want to do. He smiled. You already know about the condition of my ears, right? The girl looked down, feeling sad. It must be hard, isn't it? If I were the one enduring that burden, I might have given up at one point. However, you are different than anyone I have ever seen before. Hee, you are too, he smiled. For as long as I remember, I can't find the purpose of my ears, and for what reason do I need to endure this torture? However, it starts to change when you come to this place. I feel like I am born to help you, Kai. If you want to become the best, I will help you from behind. My ears are capable of doing that. That's why Kai suddenly stopped talking as he looked to the left with a pale expression. Kai? The little Michelle tilted her head in confusion. She began to worry when his eyes turned sharp. We need to. Before he finished for the second time, a siren echoed before an emergency announcement came. Incoming horde of magical beasts. Every single person in the seaside is to quickly search a shelter. Without hesitation, he grabbed Michelle's hand and pulled her as they started running from the coast. We need to evacuate. Hurry up. What happened? Michelle didn't know and followed him. There are at least 1,000 magical beasts coming to our location, Kai shouted. Soon after, the people from all the houses in the area began to rush out of their houses and ran straight to a deeper area away from the coast. Michelle and Kai obviously didn't have the physique comparable to them, so one by one passed them before they got enveloped by the entire population. Michelle! Never let go of my hands. Kai panicked as he tightened his grip. Suddenly, Kai felt as if lightning struck his brain as someone just kicked him. Kai realized that one of the adults just hit his head intentionally or unintentionally. His hand lost its power and finally let Michelle's hand go. Kai! Shouted Michelle while trying to reach him before she disappeared among the crowd. Michelle, Kai's consciousness became fuzzy and his feet turned limp as he dropped to the ground. Because of their panic state, the adults began to run over him, stepping on him without thinking anything. At the same time, the magical beasts started to appear in their sky, making them even more panicked. Kai could only cover his head and body with his hands while bending his body like a shrimp. Due to his ridiculous amount of magic power, his body was stronger than a normal human, but it didn't protect him during this ordeal. After several minutes, and the people began to notice him among the crowd, they began to go around him while looking at him with pity. Unfortunately, no one helped him because the magical beasts were just behind them. Creak, creak, boom. The magical beasts had arrived and started pummeling houses down while destroying anything they could. He panicked as his heart stopped for a second when the destruction filled his vision. All he thought right now was Michelle. Despite the sweet blood in his mouth and throat, the bleeding all over his body, and even his fuzzy consciousness, Kai only thought about returning to that hell to search. For Michelle, wait for me, Kai muttered in a low voice before finding a stick next to the wall. He tried to walk to grab it, but he realized that he couldn't move his left foot no matter what. Surprisingly, it had already bent in a weird way, his pain already mixed with the ringing in his ears, so he didn't let out another scream. His focus made him forget that problem for a second, and used all the strength left in his heart to reach the stick. Holding it with 2 hands, Kai could walk again with the help of the stick. One step at a time, he slowly made his way toward where he felt Michelle be. He closed his eyes for a second, trying to find her voice. Meanwhile, Michelle had her back against the wall while pointing both palms toward a giant bird. Its height reached 3 meters. Yellow and red feathers covered its body as it looked at Michelle, planning to swallow her. A magic circle appeared on Michelle's hands as a black ball flew out of it, hitting the bird. Dark bullet. It hit the bird and made it turn its head, but that was all. It wasn't injured or whatsoever. Instead, the ball pissed the bird as it stretched its wings and howled. Michelle's expression darkened, knowing that this might be the end of her. Tears fell down as she muttered a few people's names. Grandfather, father, mother, Michelle loves you. One more blink. She couldn't help but say the name of the boy she knew a few weeks ago, the one that created an impact in her life, and could be said as her childhood sweetheart. She remembered when Kai told her that he would protect her no matter what. Kai! Help me! Rai! The bird let out another sound as it began charging at her. Michelle closed her eyes and accepted her fate. However, Kai had arrived and pierced the bird's eye with the stick and knocked it away with his small body. To that instant pain, the bird flew to the side while Kai pulled the stick out of its eyes. This stick was their last weapon, so it was better to have it with him instead of leaving it on the bird's eyes like any other naive heroes. Almost falling to his knees because of his balance, he stretched his hand to Michelle and grabbed her hand. We need to go, quick. Michelle repeatedly nodded and ran without putting any thought. On the way, her focus remained on Kai as she was wondering what he had gone through to get this wound. Did he sacrifice himself to protect her? Unfortunately, that thought didn't last long. The bird had recovered and glared at them with one eye. It soared to the sky and dived, planning to kill one of them in this instant. Noticing this, Kai pulled Michelle into his embrace and shielded the charge with his own body, resulting in the bird hitting the side of his abdomen. It shredded Kai's skin and flesh as blood began to flow out. Meanwhile, the bird rose again to the sky for another strike. Michelle, you should go first. But you, she looked at his wound and stuttered. You're injured. Just shut up and go. The only way both of us can survive is you running to get any help. If you don't do it now, both of us will die. Do you understand? Just look at my foot and you will understand, Kai shouted with the last bit of his energy, planning to scare her away. There was no hope in him staying alive anyway, considering he would just lose too much blood and die. At the very least, one person would be saved from his action. Michelle gritted her teeth and ran as fast as possible, shouting and crying at the same time. You can't die. I am going to call anyone who can help. Looking at her back, Kai smiled and turned around. The bird was ready for another charge, and Kai also prepared himself to make a counterattack. When the bird dove, Kai raised the stick despite feeling so much pain on his side. Ha! Kai planned to stab it another time, blinding both eyes, but the bird had predicted Kai's movement and struck him with a wing instead. It knocked Kai down. Rolling on the ground a few times, Kai gritted his teeth as his eyes became blurry. He thought this must be how he died. Although he regretted it, it wasn't bad either. After all, he could escape from this torture that his ears gave. Kai couldn't move his body anymore, and the pain felt numb. His body began to feel cold despite so many flames around him. The house next to him collapsed as the rubbles reached him. He paid no heed of that house and closed his eyes. He would die anyway, so it was better to not see how he died and hope that there wouldn't be pain he needed to endure during his last breath. I am sorry, father, mother. Kai loves you. Kai thought before someone's footsteps ran straight to him with a speed he never saw before. The next 2 seconds, a shadow appeared before him, turning into a woman. She had a white and red hakama and wore a mask to hide her face. However, that mask was a very particular one, considering it was red and looked like an ogre, or the people here often called it an oni. The bird saw this person and changed its target as the person released her killing intent. However, the woman simply pulled her blade out and slashed the bird. Or that was supposed to happen. Kai couldn't see her swing. He only managed to listen to the wind produced by that sword. Before he knew it, the bird was already split into 2 and flew past them before landing on the ground. Kai tried to stay awake as that person turned around. Yet, Kai still managed to point out his index finger to the right. The woman noticed it and saw another bird coming from their right and slashing it like the earlier one. Chapter 407. Oni Kai, who witnessed everything, simply couldn't believe that a human was able to do such a thing. The swing was too fast for him to follow. At this time, he realized that he never saw the limit of humans. In the future, he hoped to achieve something like that, albeit he believed this was his final moment. After making sure there were no other beasts around, the woman raised her hand slightly as a white light ball appeared on top of her palm. Go away, said the woman, as the ball released a shockwave that couldn't be deciphered by Kai's ears. And surprisingly, All the magical beasts who felt it quickly flew to the sky, not wanting to linger in this place anymore. She then turned around and looked at Kai. Such a strong child. Despite having such injuries, you still looked out for others. With another shockwave occurring, the woman continued, "There will be someone coming for you. I don't know who she is, but I can't interfere more than this. I hope you stay alive." Kai's consciousness was fuzzy, not realizing that the woman had disappeared from his vision. A few seconds later, he saw another woman coming to his rescue. The moment she saw a child with such an injury, she checked his wounds while saying, "Hey boy, don't fall unconscious. Hey, talk to me. Can you open your mouth?" Her movement was fast as she tried to grab anything she had to cover his wound. Unfortunately, the wound was so severe that even she didn't have confidence in rescuing him from the death door. However, everything changed when she saw Kai moving his hand. With the last struggle of his life, he opened his mouth. "Girl, there help." Despite the limited words, the woman understood what the boy said and couldn't help but cry. Yes, this woman was none other than Rhea Ross. She recalled how her friend died during the battle. Despite knowing that she would sacrifice her life, her best friend kept smiling and cheering for her to kill the beast. Such a passion was the same as the boy. "You know, I won't let you die," Rhea shouted before reaching a decision. "I have a way to give you a chance to survive, but the success will depend on you. Even if you survive, you may hate me in the future. Still, I won't let you die right now." She took out a syringe containing red blood and stabbed Kai's heart without hesitation. The pain quickly woke him up. As he finished recalling his memory, Kai looked at the woman and saw the horns that seemed to be coming out of her head instead of her mask. Ignoring those horns, he bowed his head. "Thank you for saving my life. It seems that you have survived that ordeal." She smiled behind her mask before saying the important message. "As much as I want to talk with you, it's better to change the place first. I want to invite you to my humble home, but the only way to get in is to make you fall unconscious first. What do you think?" The others frowned. The moment they lost consciousness would be when their lives got threatened, but Kai made a quick decision and said, "I am speaking for myself. I agree." Seeing him agree, the rest followed his decision since he usually understood their situation better. "Thank you for the trust. I will bring you to my humble home and let you reunite with the Yajima family." She nodded and summoned the same light ball as she did more than a decade ago. Her eyes shone behind her mask, as their minds suddenly felt blank, as if getting struck by lightning. Kai could resist this attack but chose not to. He simply closed his eyes and trusted his body to that woman. In any case, that woman had saved his life in the past, whether intentional or unintentional. He decided this would be the last time to pay her help back. An unknown time later, Kai gradually opened his eyes, finding an unfamiliar brown ceiling. Surprisingly, the masked woman sat next to him as if knowing that he would wake up soon. "Good morning. Should I call you by your name, or do you want me to address you with your title, Mr. Protector?" she asked. As expected, Kai rose from the bed with his mind still feeling fuzzy and said, "You are not a human, right? That pair of horns are probably real." The woman smiled as she slowly took off her mask, revealing her red eyes, cute nose, and small lips. But the most mind-blowing thing was the horns coming out of her forehead. Nonetheless, to think there was a pretty face behind that ugly mask, even Kai couldn't help but suck cold breath. "Yes, I am an ogre, though you may know me more with the term Oni." She nodded with a smile. "Are you the protectors? I think, no?" Kai furrowed his eyebrows. "The protector is my father, the Oni King." Kai let out a long sigh. "To think I would meet someone who is known only in legend. I don't know what to say." "Ahaha. The present humans may not know about this, but we have existed alongside you since a few thousand years ago. Of course, we rarely showed ourselves simply because humans would treat us differently. As you know." "Yeah," Kai nodded. "That meant the people who saw you immortalized their finding in the form of legend, much less the same." She acknowledged his claim with a nod, though the stories have so many bad sides like you kidnapping people. "That can't be helped because we indeed did something like that." She chuckled before explaining what she meant. "There are 3 paths for an Oni to stay alive. The first will be to consume food like you people. We often stole the livestock, but sometimes we ate people. Of course, the people we kidnapped were the bad guys who murdered so many innocent people. The second way is to reproduce. There are two more ways for this second way. We can either create a purebred between Onis, or give birth to a half Oni by marrying a human. This is another reason why we kidnapped people. In this case, we only kidnapped men and women who had no more value in their lives. Like when poor women couldn't live anymore because she would die due to the harsh reality, or a man that had been betrayed and would die soon. As for those important people, we never touched them. My father and I are half Onis because we can adapt to the current human environments and eat your food without a problem, solving the issue of our necessity. The third way will be turning someone into an Oni. We have our own process, and the criteria are the same as the second way. This is how we survived for thousands of years. I see. Kai nodded in understanding. By the way, where are the people with me and how long have I been unconscious? Your childhood sweetheart has been taking care of your friends since early in the morning, so you don't need to worry about them. As for how long you have slept the entire night because of my power. Kai felt relief. So, am I going to meet your father? Yes. It's best for two protectors meeting face to face. Was that also the reason why you saved me in the past? Yes. I believe you should ask my father about the reason. How about the Yajima family? They are safe. It's normal for a protector to save another protector, because if a protector were to act, the world would soon be in turmoil. For example, just think, what will you do if United Asia were to be hit by 10 tornadoes at once? Disaster. Exactly. My father will explain the reason to you in detail, so I think you should meet my father first before anything else. I guess so. Kai nodded. Then, let me guide you. She rose from her seat and turned around. When she was about to step forward, Kai asked, May I know your name? It will be pretty awkward to talk like this without knowing your name. She smiled and nodded. Just call me Mai. I understand. She then walked to the wooden door and opened it. Kai took another glance at the room and found that the room was made of wood. Out of curiosity, he kept looking around while following Mai. It turned out that the place hosting them was like a castle in the past, mostly made of wood and stones. There was a traditional pond as well, making him feel as if he traveled back almost 1,000 years to the past. After walking through 4 corridors, they ended up in front of a giant wooden gate. The Oni inside must have noticed them as the door opened by itself without any sensor or whatsoever, creating creaking noises. The room was pretty dark, to be honest, with only a few candles at the end of the room. It was set beautifully on an altar where he could find someone's shadow inside a box. His face and figure were hidden behind the bamboo curtain. Welcome to my humble abode, Kai Carter, human race's protector. A gentle voice echoed. Kai bowed politely and greeted back. Thank you, Oni race's protector. Still, this formality stuff is killing me. He suddenly sighed while raising the curtain, revealing his real appearance. Unlike the Oni in the past, his figure was thin but still emanated the aura of the strong. He wore round glasses as if he couldn't see well. His short, spiky hair made him look like a playful person. I assume we can talk easier like this. Kai nodded. Well met. Chapter 408. The truth, well met. So, what did my daughter explain to you? It's nothing important. We just discussed a few things in general, including the incident 11 years ago. This time, Mai was the one answering her father. I see. The Oni nodded. Before that, just call me Ishii. No need for formality because we both are protectors. I will call you Kai in exchange. I understand. It's my pleasure to meet you, Ishii. Kai nodded with a calm expression. Likewise. Ishii smiled. He came out of the box, sitting on the floor. Now, which one should I explain first? Which one do you want? I want to confirm the person I care about first. Kai narrowed his eyes. It seems saving you was not a wrong decision back then. The guy smiled while closing his eyes. I will just tell you my power. Well, it's the stronger version than what my daughter has, mind power. I'm sure you have felt it, right? Kai nodded. It's powerful. Well, you people call it telekinesis, but I can also attack people's minds. Well, I won't go too much into details regarding my power and just explain the one that moves my heart to protect Earth. He smiled. To put it simply, I have a mind that is too great to the point I can see the future. Future. Kai widened his eyes. In the normal fight, I will be able to see 2 seconds in the future, so my prowess is quite good. With the power of telekinesis, I think I am worthy of being called a protector. Ishii's face turned sad as he sighed. Of course, using this ability will cost me a lot. Mai looked down with teary eyes. Father lost a portion of his eyesight every time he used this power. He used it 3 times for you. The first was to predict the attack. The second was to check on you. The third time was to avoid the imminent destruction of the Yajima family. That's why he used glasses. Kai sucked a cold breath and looked at Ishii with a shocked expression. No need to think about it. Ishii waved his hand. Let me explain the third one first, since you want to hear it. I saw the destruction of the Yajima family in the near future because of the Katsuragi family's expansion. To be honest, I could care less about this place's future because I know that me and my family can go by without interfering with United Asia. However, it turned out that the destruction of the Yajima family would destroy this country to the point I would face you myself. A fight between protectors is the peak fight, capable of turning the entire United Asia into a wasteland. Trust me, it's how it works. Hence, I decided to shelter the Yajima family to avoid any conflict with the human race's protector, you. Kai narrowed his eyes and asked, why? To be honest, you can kill me here right now, because you have the ability to do so. If it were the past me, I would gladly kill you without hesitation. However, I met my wife Mai's mother. She taught me how beautiful this world is. Mai herself loved to stroll around while manipulating people's minds to make it look like she was a normal human. Hence, I chose not to kill you, because you would become the one protecting this beautiful city, and my daughter will be happy too. He made a genuine smile. I see. Kai closed his eyes with a severe expression. I understand. It's not like I want to die too. Haha, I still remember the report that Mai gave me about you 11 years ago. He laughed. I told her to protect someone in Chiba, where you took a vacation during that time. After learning your existence as a protector, I wanted you to grow up without interfering with your decision, lest I would be labeled as manipulative. That's the first time I used my power on you, and it turned out that the attack on that coast wasn't an accident. What did you say? Kai dropped his jaw and stared in disbelief. Yes, I have confirmed it myself. That attack was a planned one. I don't know if you remember this, but Mai once used her mind power to force those birds to go away. I remember that scene. Kai nodded with a serious expression. The birds abruptly escaped. She used her mind power to convince the birds to go back. At the same time, she learned that they were just tasked by someone. After doing a few investigations, she realized that this someone came from the sea. Kai's face turned grim. To eliminate me? Yes. Someone at Mai's level must be coming to the surface and forcing the birds to attack. As you know, as a protector, you could easily control races for a war or something. Of course, the more intelligent they are, the harder it is to control, like you humans. Why though? I couldn't understand what they sought from me, especially since I was a kid. You are a protector. That's all it took for them to attack you, not allowing you to grow up. However, I have a premonition. Because of another protector of the same level as mine, I couldn't really read this future, but I believe there will be great destruction coming in the near future. Destruction? A war? Theo furrowed his eyebrows, falling into deep thought. I am not sure. Ishii shook his head in disappointment. There is a possibility that those in the sea are planning for something big. I see. Theo sighed. I can only prepare for this because there is no telling about what will happen, and when, at the very least, I know that something is going to happen. Well, that's just my hypothesis. At the very least, I have marked this United Asia as my territory. Unless they are planning to fight another protector, they will leave this place alone. Now that I think about it, there are 3 bases in the world: United Asia, EU, and US bases. Among the 3, only United Asia didn't suffer from the harassment. Don't tell me. Exactly. Ishii gave a thumb up. I warned them not to come unless they wanted to fight me. At that time, other protectors would surely know about it. After that, no one can tell what will happen. Understandable. Kai nodded in agreement. Well, it's not like I am planning to live here anymore. I will be leaving this place to you, Ishii. Sure, I just want to live in peace, that's all. Ishii chuckled. though I will surely come for a holiday in the future. At that time, please don't expel me, okay? Knowing your personality, I won't do such a thing. I even might come to your home to visit you in the future. Do the same for me, will you? Of course. A visitor like you is always welcome. Kai gave a thumb up. That's good. Ishii smiled. Anyway, you should be careful against those from the sea, I know. Hearing Ishii warn him again, Kai still nodded without hesitation. I will surely protect what I want to protect. Good enough. Anyway, let's move to the second one. I used my power on you when you left this base. Due to the uncertainty, I tried to see whether you could pass the tribulation or not. Since you could, I didn't send someone to help you in secret this time. Understandable. I don't want to owe you so much. You didn't owe me anything. He waved his hand and continued. Anyway, I just want to tell you that the whale is your friend. The whale? Kai narrowed his eyes. The people he met kept mentioning the whale, despite not having seen her once. Yes. When you reached a certain level, she would surely meet you in her own way. Is that so? Kai narrowed his eyes, feeling a bit disappointed. Yep. She is one of the oldest protectors of this world, witnessing so many eras. If you have something to ask, it's better to ask her. Just make sure you are polite to her or she will spank your butt. Ahaha. I will be careful. Kai scratched the back of his head. Since I have given you the information, I want to ask you this. His face suddenly turned serious. What is your plan for the Yajima family? Will you bring them somewhere else or just let them stay here? I have given them some access to the outside world, so there shouldn't be a problem with food or anything. Besides, we also have TV and other modern technologies here for entertainment purposes. Kai looked down and fell into deep thought. To be honest, I am not sure myself. Unlike my family, they are a big family, so it's hard to migrate just like that. And the Katsuragi family will surely notice it. Besides, I want to discuss it with them before deciding this matter. Fair enough. If we were in the past, a protector like you only needed to say yes, and they would be gone. But I guess the current era is like this. Ishii shrugged. Aha, you are disappointed? Nope. Just be true to yourself. Ishii stretched his hand above while yawning. Anyway, I think it's done. Suddenly, a random but ridiculous thought appeared in his mind. He couldn't help but ask him, Ishii, since you have human blood in you, do you think you can teach me about protectors? I mean, how you become stronger and such. Unfortunately, I can't. To get stronger, I have consumed the blood of my ancestors, allowing me to reach this level. Though, I can offer you some pieces of advice. What do you think? That's enough. Kai repeatedly nodded. Sure. Let's talk about it. Chapter 409, Explanation. Alright, what should I tell you first? Ishii closed his eyes and crossed his arms while thinking. At the same time, Kai glanced over Mia's expression, finding it was completely normal. In fact, she was the first to open her mouth. I think you should talk about the core, father. Ah, right. Ishii nodded, before noticing the doubt in Kai's eyes. Sorry, but Mia is my successor. I have been training her. Unlike the other powers, I can transfer my mind power to Mia, allowing her to become my successor. So I hope you don't mind her staying here. Of course, I don't have a problem. Besides, I am not a full-fledged protector yet. Kai waved his hand, telling them it was not a big deal. Ishii nodded with a smile. I will talk about the core. First of all, it's not like what you are thinking. What I mean is, the core is your power. What is the essence of your power and how you wish your power will evolve in the future? Those are the first two questions you should ask yourself. What is the essence of my power, and how I wish it will be in the future? Kai tilted his head. I can't understand. My power is sound. So the essence is air? No, maybe I should give you an example. Ishii smiled and raised his finger to his forehead. Suddenly, a round-shaped blue light came out of his forehead. This is the core of my power. It's a kind of personification of your power. After understanding the essence of your power, you can form this core. Of course, everyone has a different core. Some are tattoos, and some even have a physical body. What is this core anyway? When I asked that to my father, he told me that the moment I noticed the essence of my power, I would be able to concentrate the magic particles in my body. In other words, the core is a personification of our power that connects our body to our magic. That's my conclusion. However, even if you ask me about your core, I don't have any kind of explanation to it other than what I said earlier. It's completely different for each person. Ishi sighed helplessly. A personification, huh? Kai looked down and thought. This has become too unscientific. Aha, Ishi chuckled. Magic alone is already unscientific. Well, you people are incorporating science into magic, so it might look like it can be explained by physics. But I want you to know, the people in the past have never once considered it something that exists due to your physics law. Instead, they call it magical. My age is almost 3,000 years old, so I have witnessed the changing eras. From what I know, there are many people who can wield magic. Although they are small in number, the evidence is very clear. Do you remember the story about witches and how they fought against them? Kai furrowed his eyebrows and asked for a confirmation. The fight between the church and the witches? Yes, for an unknown reason. I believe that those people have taken magic particles in their body, allowing them to control the natural elements. From what I understand, it seems there is a small scale of apocalypse there, because I haven't felt any protectors sacrificing their lives to cool the great calamity. Though the magic particles in the air increases slightly. From my point of view, it's caused by a dying protector. A dying protector, huh? Kai furrowed his eyebrows and looked down. Yes, a protector will have a body that can withstand a huge amount of magic particles. When they die, their body will release the magic power into the air. If they die without using the altar, their magic power wouldn't be amplified, so the great calamity, or you can say the magic particles outburst, wouldn't happen. Now it makes more sense. Kai nodded in understanding. He remembered how the first strange occurrence happened. Everything suddenly changed when the animals began to evolve into magical beasts. If he believed that the name was Magic Particles Outburst, he understood the reason why the human couldn't change into magicians in one instant. I see. The reason why humans need one generation is due to the pollution. Kai sighed. Exactly. I have been using my power to protect this village to make sure that it won't get contaminated by pollution. As you might already know, pollution has started decreasing after the Great Outburst. It's simply because they have a purifying power. Unfortunately, humans have lived long enough to break free from the pollution. Even their babies have a certain amount coming from their mother. However, the moment the magic particles enter a mother's body, it would purify everything, so the baby will become pure enough to wield magic particles. So that's how it's. Kai looked at the ceiling and wondered if something would change if humans didn't pollute the earth. Still, I don't blame whoever it was that called the Great Calamity. The earth was literally dying back then, and they must fear that the earth would become unsuitable for living. Before entering that era, they decided to take the matter to their hand and called the Great Calamity. Fair enough. Kai agreed with him. The earth from back then was a mess. The rising temperature and sea level, extreme weather, the change of season, and so on. Everything wasn't like how it used to be. Anyway, to the second question. What kind of power do you wish to have in the future? This will give you a more concrete imagination as to what your core will be. Kai nodded, still having no answer. This is not meant to be answered immediately. Even I took 200 years just to find it. Of course, I am a lazy guy, so that result could be expected. Ishi chuckled. You should be able to find it pretty soon, to be honest. I understand. I will keep asking myself those two questions. Kai nodded with a solemn face. Suddenly, Ishi turned to the left and smiled. Oh, it seems that your friends have woken up from their good night's sleep. Kai widened his eyes and checked them, finding their voices. How do you... Wait, do you also have the ears? Every protector has these ears. You don't know that this is a requirement? No, I think I have heard it somewhere, but... Kai tilted his head in confusion. The one who said it was a dolphin, whose hearing was already too good to begin with. Surprisingly, Mia also has these ears too. I wonder if someone wants me to die, considering only one person can get it every generation. As long as the first one hasn't died, the second one shouldn't appear. Father, you're not going to call me a bastard child, right? Mia pouted. You idiot. I will be punished by your mother in my dream. Even though it's not real, it's still scary. Ishi flicked her forehead while laughing. Anyway, do you know anything about your ears? Kai shook his head. I guess I will explain it to you. Ishi sighed. No wonder you want me to be your mentor. Anyway, the ears are known as the ears that can listen to everything. To put it simply, your hearing will be enhanced and understanding another language will be easy. Kai nodded. By the way, this may be a bold request, but can I search for a book that can explain other races' languages? I am afraid no. Ishi scratched the back of his head with a weird smile. Our books are translated to Oni's language. Even though I am talking with you, it doesn't mean the others can. Other than me, only Mia can understand your human language, though I can lend you the book to understand Oni's language, or Mia can even teach you herself. It will probably not take too long. That will be great. I can ask my friends to stay here for the time being while I am learning about it. Well, I can't really stay here for more than 2 weeks, so I guess I can't complete it. You are underestimating our mind power too much. To be honest, with Mia's power, she can teach you everything within a week. Though you will face exhaustion until you get bedridden for 1 or 2 days. Ishi smirked as if challenging him. Well, that's good. I don't mind as long as it doesn't give me a long-lasting effect. Don't worry, it's just exhaustion. I understand. Kai smiled and turned to Mia before bowing his head. Could you please teach me about Oni's language? Mia and Ishi were surprised to see Kai's reaction. They never thought that he would lower his head. Despite leaving this place, the habit remained. If he were to ask someone to teach him, he thought it would be normal for him to lower his head, no matter his status. I will. Please don't lower your head. Mia bowed her head too. If you don't mind me being your teacher, of course. Kai raised his head and smiled. Thank you. Please take care of me. Yes. Suddenly, Kai remembers something. He took out his device and opened a picture, asking Ishi, do you know this symbol? What does this mean? Ishi frowned when he saw the symbol. After a few minutes, he let out a long sigh. I see. So, that's how it is. Do you know something? Kai tilted his head in confusion. Can you tell me about this symbol? What does this symbol mean? He smiled and nodded. I will just cut to the chase. The symbol means Naga. It seems that the one sending those birds in the past comes from Naga race or its affiliation. Chapter 410. Meeting Naga race? Kai frowned. Yes, from what I know, there is a protector from Naga race governing the sea. Do you know the identities of all protectors from the sea? I am not sure. I have met 3 of them, the Naga, Shark King, and the whale. Ishi shook his head in disappointment. That? Kai looked down while contemplating. Even on the land, I have only met 2 more around here. I met the first one in Russia, and the second one in India. Ishi continued. Protectors don't usually meet each other. Only the whale is different. Do you have a prediction of their number? Including you. It's 15. That's just my prediction, so I can be wrong. Kai closed his eyes and opened his mouth. I have met 2 protectors other than the one you met. One of them considers the whale as his mentor. I see. I'm not really interested in this, so you don't need to tell me about them. Besides, I think I don't have anything to say regarding protectors any more than this, as it's a sensitive topic. I understand. Kai nodded. I just want you to know that I will remain neutral, no matter how bad your situation is. After all, unless the Earth becomes unstable, I won't move from here and just enjoy my life here. Ishi laughed. If you don't have any more questions, I think it's better to meet your precious friends before they are worried about you. Kai sighed because he also heard what they were talking about in another room. Since Mia asked Haruko to explain it to them, they just simply couldn't trust her just yet, even though Tasha and Ayaka knew her. After all, they never saw Kai and couldn't meet him during this time, making them a bit wary against her. I understand. I will return for today to calm them down. Besides, I think I will ask Miss Mia if I have another question while she teaches me Oni's language. Kai rose from the floor and lowered his head. Thank you for your time. No, I enjoyed our talk too. It's been a while since I last met another protector. Even if it's a baby, a protector is still a protector. Ishi waved his hand with a smile. Let me guide you. Mia also stood up. Since there might be a weird complication if Kai was spotted alone, she decided to lead him there despite him knowing the way with his ears. Thanks. Kai smiled and followed Mia after giving his thanks once again to Ishi. Meanwhile, in the lodging room, Haruko was sweating, trying to explain everything, albeit the others didn't believe her completely. I have told you all the things I found here. Haruko sighed. Even so, I need to see Kai first before I can trust you. Tasha shook her head helplessly. I have known you for years, but we have lost contact for almost 2 years. I can't really give you permission to visit him because he is busy right now. I am sure that he will return in a few hours. Haruko scratched the back of his head. I have told Kai everything. Besides, you have changed so much, so I need to see whether you are lying or not. Even if Kai likes you, I still need to screen you out. Tasha narrowed her eyes. Indeed. Even if you are a childhood friend, we only met for a day. Back then, I believed you were genuine, but I couldn't say the same right now. Michelle shook her head in disappointment. What do you want me to say? Haruko let out a long sigh. Just lead us to Kai. I have told, creak. Before she complained again, the door was opened as a man's voice echoed in the room. That's enough, all of you, I am here. Kai entered the room with Mia coming inside together. Kai, they widened their eyes. Even Haruko was surprised to see him. It's been a while. Kai smiled at Haruko before looking at his group. I am here now. In fact, I have been listening to your conversation since the beginning. Tasha looked away. I mean, you can't expect that we will trust everything after getting into this unknown place and locked up without seeing you. I know. Kai smiled and patted her head before looking at Michelle. You two, put down the grudge, okay? I just realized that it was hard to accept her because nothing was going on between you. I thought I had put it down and believed everything would be fine. Yet, when I met her, I couldn't do it. Michelle sighed. It's fine. That's how you are. But can you let me deal with it here? Kai smiled. Michelle nodded and took a step back. He then turned to Ayaka and smiled. So, how about you? I don't have an opinion. It's not like you are going to change anyway. Ayaka shook her head. Although I have met her in the past, it was just for a brief moment, so I planned to observe her for a while. Yeah. Kai smiled and glanced at Haruko. You heard that? Before waiting for her to reply, Kai looked at Sophia. How about you, princess? I am not a princess. She pouted. Well, I am not yours, yet. After that, Isabel and Evan were staring at him from the side until Kai turned his head. It's your problem, not mine. Though I will try to investigate the outside if they don't let me out for a period of time. Isabel shrugged. By the way, how is everyone's body? Kai asked Evan. I have checked everyone. No one has any weird substance in their body. I haven't checked yours though. Evan narrowed his eyes. Kai nodded before turning to Mia. Since I have finished my business here, I will leave you alone first. If you plan to do the thing we've agreed upon, you can return to the room you first woke up in. I will know when you are there. Mia waved a hand as she had put on her mask before entering the room. Unlike Kai, other people shouldn't know her face because it wasn't supposed to, according to the rule. All right, I will meet you later. Kai nodded. Suddenly, Tasha and the others narrowed their eyes, staring at Kai with a fierce look. You are so good. One night is all it takes for you to get her, said Tasha while crossing her arms. It's not like what you think. She is just going to teach me something. Although I can't say anything about it, I can promise you that it's not like what you are thinking right now. Is that so? Tasha took a deep breath as her expression returned to normal. After assuring them, it was time to settle everything with Yajima Haruko. It's been a while. How are you? I am good, though it's not as busy as you, Mr. Hero. Kai chuckled. So, did you even graduate, Miss Student Council President? Kai shrugged while looking away. Thanks to the situation, I'm not. Well, it's not that important, so why should I care? Haruko shook her head helplessly. Besides, if I want to join the military, it won't be that hard. Heh, it's nice to have a big family as your background, eh? Michelle playfully teased her. Your family is even bigger than my Yajima family, let alone after getting suppressed by the Katsuragi family. Even so, I don't really utilize my family. I have been doing everything by myself. But you can't deny the fact that their influence alone is helping you, right? Besides, you are receiving help from Kai. Your mouth has grown nasty after this whole decade. Michelle narrowed her eyes. You haven't changed. Still nasty. Humph. The two looked away while snorting. Anyway, what are you planning to do? Kai asked. Right. You can follow us back to the US base, but I don't think it's possible, no? I mean, you have your family here. Michelle nodded. Yes, I am here to hide until the situation has been settled. Though with your appearance, it will soon become big, especially with how you are aiming Dalian to be your mission. It threw United Asia into chaos a few days ago, so you're not going to come. Although I would like to, it's not possible. First, I should be considered a graduate. Second, whether I'm here or there, I will be enlisted in the military. Hence, I am better here because I can spy on the Katsuragi family, giving you the update, everything happened here. I will support your decision. Kai nodded. If you need any help, just call me. I will come here as soon as possible. Besides, I need to settle the problem there first, before I can leisurely come to meet you. Haruko nodded. I have gotten used to it. By the way, that's a bad move, you know. You won't get a chance to get closer to Kai. Ayaka narrowed her eyes. It's fine. We still have a long time to spend, so I will just do it if it's not possible now. She shook her head. This is important, but we have a problem that will shake it, so I choose to be here. Though, if you want it, I can quickly go to the US base right now. Kai smiled. It's fine. I don't want to restrain you just because I want to. Everyone is comfortable in the US base, and I am happy with it because I know they have their own things to do. Michelle and your dream have gotten inverted. She smirked, looking at Michelle and Kai. The hero dream was Michelle's, yet the reality turned out to be different. Michelle was the one supporting Kai. That was just a child's dream. I am an adult now. Really? She narrowed her eyes and looked at her chest. Are you trying to insult me with that rag? You are not even an adult yet. Michelle snorted. Chapter 411. Plan. The fight continued as Kai stopped paying attention to them. Instead, he focused on Tasha, asking, if I were to say that I couldn't go with you guys for 2 weeks, what would you do? Tasha and the others widened their eyes, feeling something wrong with that question. Even Michelle and Haruko stopped and stared at his back. After contemplating for a minute, Tasha's expression turned serious. Her tone was calm as she pressed his chest. I think I want to ask for the reason first. It's not possible to tell you. Kai shook his head in disappointment. He grabbed her hand and put a smile on his face. But I can promise you this. It's not something involving my life. It's a super safe thing to do. Tasha closed her eyes and asked the second question. What can we do? You can do anything. You may go anywhere in United Asia. I only need around a week, it seems. But it may take 2 weeks here in the worst case. Hence, I can't bring you to go around this base. So, we need to leave this place, numb. If you want to stay here, it's fine. But I feel like you are going to feel bored. He smiled, knowing that everyone's personality. Fine, but you should finish it as soon as possible. We will tour around this base since no one will bother us, other than the government and the South family. Of course, I will deal with everything here. Tasha nodded before narrowing his eyes, looking at the two people who claimed to be adults but fought over something simple. Why are you staring at us, Tasha? Haruko twitched her eyebrows. Virgin kid should just stay quiet. Tasha snorted, shutting her up with that one sentence. Veer, what? That's right. Why are you treating us like a kid? Michelle narrowed her eyes. Shut up. You were just a sex maniac. Tasha harumphed and crossed her arms. If you don't like it, why don't you call the other one here? Michelle halted for a second and looked away while pouting. Anyway, there is Ayaka as well, who can guide you. By the way, you can use me, you know. Haruko suddenly raised her hand, as though she planned something. I mean, you can appoint me as the guide. Since I am your childhood friend and from a big family. Although everything has disappeared right now, I can be your guide. There are several advantages to this. First, I can scout around the area to ensure that no one takes advantage of you during this holiday. Besides, I have completely understood how the government works, so I can simply refute everything they say. Second, I can walk in the broad light, inciting the Katsuragi family's rage even further. From what I understand, you are going to fight them in Dalian, right? The more they feel this way, the bigger their reaction will be. Third, I can tell the people that my Yajima family is still there, making the Katsuragi family halt their progress for the time being, giving you more time to prepare. Haruko explained everything, the conclusion she reached when she heard the announcement a few days ago. It seems that you have grown sharper. Tasha narrowed her eyes, observing her from top to bottom. Ah, by the way, she can't cook. Such a shame. Even Ayaka is far better than you right now. Is there a need to beat me up like this again? Are you holding a grudge against me, Tasha? Haruko scratched the back of her head, feeling embarrassed. Of course I am holding a grudge. Have you forgotten all the things you have done back in school? If it's not because of the vice president, I would have left already. By the way, where is she? To prevent herself from getting entangled in this situation, she entered the military as soon as she graduated, so I don't have her position right now. Besides, I don't want to mess this up, resulting in us having no contact during the past year. She sighed. Fair enough. Maybe we will meet her during this mission, but I don't care. I only need to know that she is fine. Tasha thought for a moment and nodded. All right, you are hired as a guide. Haruko twitched her eyebrows. As expected, you are really holding a grudge against me. I have told you, no? Tasha shrugged. Her hand suddenly pointed at the one next to her, Michelle. Besides, do you think you can beat both of us with arguments? You can only do it when you have that status, Miss Student Council President. Now, it's time for you to pay back for all the things you have done. Can I still withdraw my proposal earlier? Ha ha ha. Everyone laughed. Evan and Isabel simply watched them from afar, having their own time together. By the way, how about you two? Kai turned his head. Are you going to act separately? They exchanged their looks first before Isabel waved her hand. They seemed to have made an agreement beforehand, so Isabel explained it to them. We will follow you. Although there is 95% that the enemy won't make a move, I don't want to get trapped in that 5%. I mean, they have an S-rank magician, right? Yeah, Kai nodded. He is Ikeda Kenzo, a light magician. Considering his age and achievement, I doubt that Evan and I can fight against him, especially with our fighting style. That's why we have agreed to tag along. Besides, it's not like we can't have alone time, right? She smirked at Evan. Oh, you haven't used all the medicine? I thought there were 10 bottles at that time. Kai nodded in understanding. Those are precious medicines. As long as we know that we love each other, it's fine. Isabel shook her head. Evan repeatedly nodded his head, agreeing to what she said. They had gone through this already, planning for their future. Although they might need to rely on Kai for the medicine, they didn't want to be his burden too much. With how Kai had been helping them from the start, the couple really couldn't thank him enough. Kai not only turned Evan into an independent and strong fighter, but he also brought them together, allowing them to reach their current degree of affection. All right, I agree with this. Kai contemplated for a thing before giving the confirmation to their plan. However, I want you to keep me informed. Can you do that? Once every 3 days should be fine. Any more than that, the Katsuragi family will know about it, I guess. Haruko explained while calculating the scheme in her mind. It's fine. Kai then remembered something and asked her, That's right, where are your parents? I should meet them, no? I think you shouldn't for the time being. You know, our situation is not good right now. I don't want my family to think that everything happens because of you, making them think we are dependent. Besides, I don't plan to leech on your influence or something. I rather build everything from scratch. All right, I will respect your decision. When everything is solved, I will meet them once again. Kai nodded in understanding. It wasn't good to press this matter. Besides, he also hadn't met Sophia's parents. Although they had yet to get together, their relationship almost reached that stage after staying in the same room for almost a year while being showered by affection. Only the last few months were effective though. Since we have the plan ready, I will let Tasha deal with the details. If that is fine, I will go to her right now. Kai smiled. They exchanged looks. One by one began to nod their head, showing their approval. Good. I will go now. The sooner I start, the sooner I will finish. Kai smiled and waved his hand, meeting Mia, only to find her leading him to Ishii. Kai told their plan to Mia and Ishii. After understanding the situation, Ishii declared that he had no intention of getting involved in his problem other than sheltering the Yajima family here. He also told Kai that he shouldn't come and go because it would make the barrier unstable. At the very least, he needed to wait for a week. Mia also had told Haruko regarding this matter, so she wouldn't be dependent on this place to hide her. Ishii also asked Kai to promise them to not get this place involved with whatever he was doing. After getting his promise, Ishii finally gave him permission to handle everything and prepare for his study. At first, Kai thought that he could learn other languages after studying the Oni language, but Ishii couldn't allow him to do that. He could only give him the chance to learn the Oni language because it would be a breach of the ancient contract. Unfortunately, Ishi refused to tell him the exact contract. His only reply was to seek the ancient civilization of his own race. Kai obviously had no clue about it and didn't know where to find them. Ishi, on the other hand, promised him to give a clue about their location if Kai managed to learn their language within a week. It would be hard, but it was doable. The deal was made, and Mia sent Tasha and the others to the outside of the place in the same way. Unlike the dolphin who was eager to show Kai his place, Ishi seemed to want to stay away from the outside world, which was understandable because people didn't look at them kindly due to the legend. After everything was solved, Kai reached the room with only one table and a pair of chairs. Mia had been waiting for him, stretching her hand. "Let's start, shall we? Please take care of me." Chapter 412, Akkadian. It's finally over. Kai stumbled on the floor as he panted a few times. His consciousness was fuzzy, as though he would sleep for a long time the moment his head touched the floor. "You have learned our language right now. Unfortunately, I can't teach you any language because of the rule. By the way, what is this ancient pact that prevents me from learning other languages?" Here is the corrected and properly formatted paragraph. Only their own race can teach their scion other languages. If another race is teaching you a language other than their language, there are only three possibilities. First, you will need to give up your identity as the protector and become one of my Oni race. Second, you will be considered as our possession like that of a slave. Or third, our entire race has become your slave. Hence, please understand that we can't really allow you to learn any other language besides ours. Kai let out a long sigh and nodded. "I understand. I am sorry for making you in a difficult position when I asked the question. It's fine. You have no knowledge about it after all. However, if you come to us to teach you after learning about it, we can only see it as a declaration of war." Mai smiled while narrowed her eyes. Yes. I understand." Kai nodded. "I won't mention it anymore. Now that I think about it, I have a question." "Sure. Please ask. What is the use of other languages?" "You can govern other races using the language. In this case, you can govern our Oni race, albeit my father and my words are more important than yours. But it will be different if you go to the magical beasts. You should know that in a certain area, there should be a magical beast acting as a leader, right?" "Yes. Depending on their race, you can force them to obey you and allow them to govern the other races. This will allow you to mobilize so many magical beasts at once. There are protectors that want to coexist, so it gives them something in exchange for their loyalty. There are some that force them to obey. I hope that you are the former. Anyway, there are so many races in this world, so there are many leader-class beasts. In other words, you should learn more languages during this time. I have no idea where I can find the ancient human civilization." Theo sighed. "I can tell you a clue about it. I don't know their exact location, but I believe that they call their language Akkadian." Suddenly, Ishi came into the room and explained. "Akkadian?" Theo narrowed his eyes and opened his device, trying to find Akkadian language. "It's a native language to Assyria and Babylon. If it's true, then their current location is around Iran and Iraq. However, I need to cross Turkey first before reaching that place. This is not going to be an easy journey. Not only do I need to hide this fact to the people by going alone, but I can't go for a long time unless they will notice my movement and try to question me. I can probably bring Sophia as a guarantee, but I don't know how far she will hide the fact." Kai narrowed his eyes and fell into deep thought. "You have your own circumstances, I guess, but I don't think you will find it hard to find them, as long as you utilize your ears, and with that item of yours that carries a powerful space. Magic, I think you have gotten it already." Ishi shrugged while looking at the necklace Rapaka gave. "Well, I will try it as soon as possible. Still, it's not possible to do it in the next 2 months." Kai sighed. "Even though I really want to advance as soon as possible, you are very greedy, aren't you?" Ishi smirked. "Either way, the moment you know how to develop your body, your lifespan will grow, so no need to worry about it too much." "I know, but I have a lot to think, so I can't afford to waste a single second. After all, I have my family. If I were to be alone in the future, Kai let out a long sigh, not knowing what to do when everyone became old and weak while he had yet to age. You can still see your children. Besides, if you reach that point, this place is open for you. We can play shogi or whatever to pass the time. If you can't stand it, there is still another way. Ishii looked away. Without telling him, Kai already knew that there was always an option to suicide. For a human who had gotten used to living for 70 years normally, living 100 years would be a blessing. However, if it were 200 years, 300 years, they would surely start going insane. They watched the passing eras, the death of his children and grandchildren, and even more, the people would consider them a monster. By the way, can I teach them something to prolong their lives? Your wives? Yes. However, they won't be able to compare to you. A protector has a normal lifespan of 20,000. Some are even higher. However, your wives, I think their talent can only give them like 200 years or 300 years at most. I see, Kai sighed. At least, it's good enough. I can't even see my future after living 200 years, so I will decide when the time comes. Indeed. Actually, I've once thought about our role in this world. Ishii's expression turned serious as he looked at the ceiling, recalling what happened in the past. Kai furrowed his eyebrows while Mia widened her eyes as though she never heard it from her father. Our role? Yes. Don't you think this is weird? From where did the magic particles come? Why was there an altar for each protector? Why could only one person be qualified as a protector? Why would we live a long life? Who set such a rule? I have been asking it for a long time. And that theory that you humans called Big Bang Theory, I don't think such a concept is good enough to explain it. Ishii smiled. Kai widened his eyes. I feel like there is more to explore in this universe. Maybe I will live long enough to reach the point where we can explore space, exploring all the wonders this universe holds. Maybe at that time, I can give my mantle to Mia, journeying around the universe. I wonder what kind of language those people you called aliens have. I want to know it all. Who is the strongest being in this universe? I want to see that person. This is my motivation for living through all this. Ishii smiled. I am sure that there are so many monsters stronger than us. Hence, I want to fight them to know where my limit is. Motivation, huh? Kai let out a long sigh. Such a grand motivation. I don't know if I will have such a thing. I just wish to live peacefully with my wives. That's also a wonderful motivation. Well, how about you live long enough to reach the time for my ambition and explore the universe together with me? Who knows? It will be too long in the future. I might have lost interest in the worldly affair and chose to pass away. Kai shrugged. But if that time comes and I gain that desire, I hope that you still invite me. Ha ha ha, sure, I will invite you, of course. Ishii laughed before stretching his hand to the door. Soon, 1 wine bottle and 3 cups flew inside the room, hovering in front of Ishii. He poured the wine to all of them, handing them with his telekinesis. Drink, drink, let's drink, you too, Mia. Mia looked mysteriously at his father and sighed. She knew that her father would never be the same after he lost his wife, aka her mother. It was fortunate and unfortunate at the same time to meet Kai Carter. Either way, she didn't need to worry about it for the time being. Kai took the cup and drank it. Before long, Mia caught his falling body and shook her head helplessly. Father, I know that you are happy, but you shouldn't give wine to a sleepy person. He hasn't slept for 3 days. Ha ha ha, sorry. Ishii laughed and looked at Kai's sleeping face. I feel like he has a lot of potential, but he has no desire to get stronger than necessary. The reason why he can grow this fast like no limit is due to him not understanding the real power of a protector. Once he gains the same power and status, he won't have this significant improvement anymore. Instead, his progress will become slower and slower until everything looks boring to him. To be honest, I pity such a person, since I was once the same person like him. He let out a long sigh. When I lost your mother, she told me to get another wife, not only to keep me company, but also to raise you. However, when she told me like that, how could I even look at any other woman? They are not the same. No one can replace her. The time feels to come to a halt for me. Hence, I want to have this journey as my last journey and die by the blade. I promise your mother that I will keep taking care of you and not commit suicide. But I have truly had it enough. Mia put Kai gently on the bed before hugging her father. Father, You are the best father in the world. Whatever you choose, Mia will support it. But Mia just wishes that you won't disappear so suddenly without telling me. And don't worry, I will take care of all the Onis in this place. Ahaha, Ishi chuckled before a genuine smile appeared on his face. You are truly like your mother. Because fathers raised me well. Chapter 4 1/3. Enjoy, goodbye for now. I don't know if we will meet again. Kai smiled and waved his hand. Mai nodded and smiled back. This place will always open for you. Please come and visit us in the future. I will. Kai nodded. They were outside the village right now without any way to know the position of their entrance. However, Kai could understand their situation. He had spent 6 days studying the Oni language and slept for 2 days. This meant he had 6 days to stroll around United Asia with the others. And not a single time he saw the outside of the building. It might be due to Ishi's lack of ambition in the current stage, but it was just his simple way to protect his village. Then, it's time for me to go. Kai smiled and turned around. He walked forward while waving his hand until he entered the pedestrian area. After that, Kai took out his device and called Michelle. Kai, are you done with your business? Yep, I am outside right now. Where are you? I will go to your location right away. We are in Kanagawa right now. I will send you the exact location. Sure. Kai then hung up and looked at the mail. After receiving the location, he quickly took the bus without forgetting to wear something to cover his appearance. Although he wasn't as famous as when he stayed in the US base, some people would surely recognize him. After 1 hour of traveling, he reached a restaurant where Michelle and the others waited. It was a simple family restaurant, so he entered the building after confirming that this place was safe with his ears. He saw 7 people sitting together. It seemed they got the farthest seat, so no one would bother them too much. Besides, this spot would be perfect for Kai since not many people would see him. Here you are. Michelle waved her hand and pulled him inside. So, what is your progress? Kai twitched his eyebrows while asking, You are not talking about my relationship with her, right? Isn't that obvious? Michelle narrowed her eyes and tilted her head as if thinking Kai was a fool. Kai scratched the back of his head and sighed. I don't have any relationship or whatsoever, and I have no plan in doing that. But she is a looker, right? Tasha joined the fray as she began questioning him. I do admit she is beautiful, but we are 2 different races. It's not about the matter of being a zodiac or something anymore. Besides, it's not like she or I have a plan to continue. So, you all don't need to worry. Kai shrugged. Michelle and Tasha still looked at him suspiciously while Ayaka chuckled. You two are oversensitive. It's not nice when you are asking those questions to him, even if you mean it as a joke. Of course, it's more terrible if you are not joking. Anyway, trust him a bit more, will you? Michelle and Tasha looked at each other and lowered their heads. We're sorry. Kai shook his head helplessly while smiling. Ha! I can understand where you're coming from. Obviously, the reason why these 2 pursued this topic was due to his identity as a protector. If he were just a normal genius, they wouldn't be bothering such a thing. Protectors were considered world-class in this area, so there was no barrier between races. Anyway, what do you want to eat? Sophia asked while handing the menu. I will have this one. Kai pointed at the menu before Haruko called the waitress. Since the group had finished, Kai ate alone until he was full before turning to Isabel and Evan. How are you 2? Are the girls a bit pushy? Nah, they're great. Isabel shook her head with a smile. Do you have any plan for the rest of our vacation? Nope, I will just follow you guys around. Kai shrugged. I see. We have explored all of the Kanto region. Our plan is to go around Chubun, Michelle answered. I don't have a problem. Besides, I need to think more about our plan in Dalian. It's going to be tough, to be honest. Kai sighed. Do you need help? Tasha, Ayaka, and Michelle asked in unison. It's fine, I can handle it myself. I'm just considering where to trap them, because we don't have a visual for the terrains. At the same time, I don't have the information of their force. I bet Ikeda Kenzo is going to fight them. As soon as Kai finished eating, they decided to start their plan, going around Chobu. Although the excitement wasn't like how they went without Kai, it was still fun. Kai enjoyed it a lot too. Although they couldn't swim, they could walk around the coast to feel the breeze. It was heavily guarded as well, so it wasn't like they would easily meet another magical beast in that area. After a joyful vacation, They finally gathered together on the coast of Yamaguchi, where it was the closest to South Korea. It's been a while since the last time we did this. Kai smiled and looked at Tasha. Other than Michelle and Ayaka, no one actually knew that Kai could use space magic, so they couldn't understand Kai's choice to go here instead of the airport. Their impression became even more confused when they saw Tasha kiss Kai. Only Sophia could see something different. His fire flares up while Tasha's dims down. What is actually happening? Her heart skipped a beat, trying to understand the situation. However, when she and the others were about to react, Kai suddenly looked toward them with a serious expression. Everyone could realize that he wasn't actually staring at them. Instead, someone behind them. The moment they turned around, they couldn't find someone behind them, confusing them again before Sophia saw a flame behind the building. It turned out that the flame was the man they met in the airport, Hanashita. I have heard the report. Are you really not going to take the military plan? Hanashita asked with a serious expression after reaching their position. Yes, I have told you about it, but since you must not want this information to come to an end this early, I have decided to say it again. I don't need the government's assistance to go there, nor do I need their help in my mission. Instead, you are the one who should move your military to Dalian tomorrow. If you are not, I am sure that the citizens will look down on you even more, weakening your power, said Kai with a calm expression. Hanashita clenched his teeth before criticizing him. This is a threat, not a cooperation anymore. It's not a threat nor cooperation. I am simply doing my mission. Whether you want to take advantage of it or not, it's your choice. You can say that we have no cooperation with the US government, but people will believe that you are just trying to prosecute me after everything happened to me. Kai shook his head. Hanashita really wanted to beat this Kai Kata, but couldn't do so. He took a deep breath before asking, why tomorrow? Katsuragi family. I am sure that you are aware of my conflict with them, right? So you want me to delay the military for a day while spreading the news, allowing you to deal with the Katsuragi family today?
Exactly.
I am sure that they have been waiting for us there. It's still 8 a.m. in the morning, so we have plenty of time. Kai smiled. That's all I want to say. I think you should go to work soon, or else you will be put in a difficult situation. You are the one putting me in this situation. Hanashita let out a long sigh before turning around. We won't cooperate with you. We simply wish to get Dalian, and will cooperate with you only for that objective, nothing else. Hanashita turned away and left them in frustration. After confirming that everyone had left, Kai looked at Haruko. Can I come? I know that I haven't fought alongside all of you, but I can support you from behind. I promise that I will do my best not to become your burden. Haruko bowed her head. That depends on everyone's opinions. Kai glanced at his group. I don't mind. Tasha and Michelle shrugged while Ayaka and Sophia agreed to this decision. Isabel and Evan exchanged looks and nodded in agreement. I don't think it will be a problem. That's how it is. So, welcome on board. Kai smiled. He then snapped his finger and created a teleportation magic circle. Everyone, except Michelle, Tasha, and Ayaka, dropped their jaw because they recognized this magic circle. Kai, this is... Before they had enough time to say something, Kai already activated and sent all of them to South Korea. Chapter 414, Tasha's Past. All right. We have arrived, said Kai while scanning his surroundings with his ears. Meanwhile, Sophia grabbed his shoulder and stuttered. Did you just use the teleportation magic? That's not important. Kai shook his head. This is very important, Sophia shouted back. We need to roar. Before she finished her words, a series of roars resounded as she quickly took a look at her surroundings, finding at least 100 people in the area. Ah! Annoying. I'm going to kill them first. Sophia gritted her teeth and activated her exoskeleton. She jumped toward a pack consisting of 30 magical beasts. Puffed. You are making the situation more complicated, Kai. Michelle chuckled while taking out her swords, ready to move out. I don't need to hide it anymore since even Tasha's sealing magic is not that important. Kai shrugged. Michelle shrugged and leaped forth. Whatever you say. Puffed. Anyway, let's clear this area first. Tasha chuckled while taking out her bow. She then turned to the stunned Haruko and made a smug smile. What? Do you want to go back now? Haruko clenched her teeth and shook her head before summoning a magic circle. Ayaka, on the other hand, patted Evan and Isabel's shoulders while laughing. Ahaha, you will get used to it in the future. It's insane, you know. Anyway, it's time for us to work. We shouldn't waste too much time unless we want to fight against so many magical beasts before even going to fight the Katsuragi family. Kai remained in his position as though he wanted to find something. Where are the people from the Katsuragi family? Kai muttered. He had perfect trust in his teammates, so all his focus went towards searching the Katsuragi family. Unfortunately, after 2 minutes, he had yet to find them, so he concluded that they were not around here. When he opened his eyes, he found his teammates had killed every single beast in this area. Surprisingly, Michelle stared at Haruko with a shocked expression. You. There was no doubt that Haruko could perform like them. The usage of her magic was not that far away from them. What? I have been training this whole time, you know. Haruko shrugged. Do you think I will let you surpass me that easily? Michelle had no word to say. Well, at least, we don't need to worry about you too much. Haha! Haruko laughed and returned to Kai. What are we going to do now? Wait a minute. Instead of asking that question, why don't we ask about his power? I know that I am rude, but that magic kit is supposed to be Tasha's. Sophia stopped her while glaring at Kai. I know. That's why I've been hiding it this whole time. Kai put on a gentle smile, expecting such a reaction. This will surely cause another huge eruption in the US base. 2 elements. Magician alone is rare enough, let alone someone who is an S-ranked magician. I am afraid that my grandfather will do everything he can to make you stay. Sophia narrowed her eyes. Even if it means breaking any contract. You see, we still have the Poison Master with us, and a few others that can force you to stay. So, you are going to do something to me? Kai's gentle smile hadn't changed as his calm expression asked this question to Sophia. Sophia shook her head. I can lie for you, but I need to know about this. After all, it's better to know everything or nothing at all, rather than getting just a piece of information. If I don't know anything, they won't get any information from me. And if I know everything, I will know how to handle the situation, including what I can and cannot say. However, had I only known this level of information, I couldn't even lie, even if I wanted to. Talking too much or talking too less will make them misunderstand the entire situation. So it won't be good for you and for me. That's why I know that this is shameless coming from me who is not even your girlfriend. May I know the power from earlier? Sophia lowered her head as if pleading to Kai. Kai gently lifted her head and smiled. So, you are going to lie for me? Sophia hesitated for a second. After knowing you for almost a year, I somehow started yearning for such a relationship. When the others have their own dreams, you will support them without hesitation. In exchange, they will also help you in all situations. I feel that it's nice too. I have a dream which is to surpass my grandfather, who is the strongest in EU base. But recently, the dream became two. I feel like I can aim at the sky as long as I'm with you, but it also means that I am prepared to do everything in the process for both of us. That's why I will help you conceal this secret. Kai smiled and stroked her hair while saying, If you think that you don't want to lie, it's fine for me, but I really appreciate your honest opinion. Life is more important than a secret. The reason why I don't really like the military is due to them having the need to keep something a secret for someone else instead of their own family. For me, family is number one. Maybe it's because of my childhood, but my belief remains the same until now. For me, a base can't be compared to a family. That's why I will trust you. Kai then looked at Isabel, Evan, and Haruko. I think you three should listen to it as well. Different from Sophia, you three have enough integrity to keep this a secret, right? Of course. Though I prefer not to hear it. Evan scratched the back of his head. You are just going to have a hard time if you don't hear it. Isabel elbowed his chest gently. But don't worry, Captain. We will keep this a secret. Haruko also nodded her head since she had a suspicion. From what she knew, Tasha couldn't teleport in a long distance despite having so much magic power. So there must be something she hid from her, albeit she herself had no interest in getting Tasha's secret. Kai then looked at Tasha to see her opinion. His answer came in the form of a storytelling from Tasha herself. Back when I was 10 years old, I met Kai along with his parents. My talent as a dual magic user raised the bar to a very high level. Unfortunately, my magic power wasn't enough to wield space magic, so most people gave up on me. After that, there was someone interested in grooming as his bride, thinking that he would have an heir that would wield two magic like me, but with more magic power. Because of his gene, not wanting to resign to my fate, I ran away from home and kept hiding from my own family. After almost a month, I was in a bind because I had used everything I brought from home. My clothes had become rugged and my stomach was empty. Wandering in the street like a beggar, a miracle happened. That was the first time I met Kai, who happened to be on vacation. After knowing that my space magic was actually a sealing magic, he asked me whether I could seal his magic power inside of me or not. We kept meeting for a few days until one point. The experiment succeeded, and all his ridiculous amount of magic power was sealed within me, allowing me to wield both of my magic power. When I was about to return it to him, he declined and told me to keep it. His only payment was me becoming his friend, as he told me. I can go back to my family, proving that they are wrong. However, I had a different idea back then. I told him that I wanted to become his supporter or whatever, as long as I could keep meeting him. Although my appearance was a mess, I still had confidence that my appearance was pretty enough, so I didn't even mind becoming his maid. No need to pay as long as I can just meet him and fill my stomach. That's what I said to him. Surprisingly, he asked me to become his sister instead and introduce me to his parents. Kai had suffered so much during his childhood, so mother and father agreed to adopt me from his request. However, everything happened so fast and my previous family was still searching for me because they wanted to take advantage of my body to get a genius heir. After telling him everything, I was about to escape from home because I didn't want to endanger the family. Of course, I would have returned his magic if he didn't notice my intention. I told him everything about my situation, and to think that I would have seen Kai be that decisive to protect me after that, because the situation would become even more dangerous after that point. Kai decided to teach me how to use my power and became an elite during my childhood. Although I was a mess at the start, I began to kill every single pursuer and those who tried to bring me back to the family. After all, my name was and will always be Tasha Carter. All in all, we fought very hard until one point where we managed to take down the whole family. Reluctant as I was back then, I joined the government to protect the family and hid everything. And the time passed by, and you all see me right now. That's how my love story with Kai and the reason why Kai could use my magic. To put it simply, what I have right now is Kai's magic power, and everything is possible due to my sealing magic since I sealed my own magic inside Kai's body. Only space magic though. Chapter 4:15. Come. So that's what happened. Sophia narrowed her eyes and contemplated. I think I know what I should say in the future, in case someone important knows about the fact that you can use space magic. Thanks, Sophia. Kai smiled. It's fine. Sophia shook her head helplessly. Unlike the others, my identity is too important. For example, if you married me, people would believe that either base forced you to marry me. That's not what I want. People should know that we are doing this because there is love between us. Kai scratched the back of his head, feeling embarrassed. As she said, even Michelle, Tasha, or Haruko couldn't be compared to her identity as the granddaughter and the first Zodiac from the EU base. If Kai married Michelle, people would see him marrying his own childhood sweetheart. A similar thing applied to Tasha with just a sip of the taste of a not blood-related sister relationship. As for Haruko, the Yajima family or United Asia was not enough to be recognized as a part of the agreement. Hence, Sophia seemed to have decided to stop forcing her way. Instead, she wanted to let the storm pass soon before they announced their relationship, even if their relationship had been established for long. By using the power of rumor from her appearance around Kai, the people would talk about it every now and then, giving enough spice to announce the whole thing to the public. Only then would they be officially recognized by people around the world. Anyway, now you know about this secret. I hope you can keep it a secret. Kai smiled before looking at Tasha. Tasha nodded and kissed him again, returning her magic inside her body. After that, Kai asked, "Do any of you have any questions?" "Nope. We can start moving to another place." Michelle shrugged and looked at the others. "That's right. We shouldn't waste too much time here." Tasha nodded in agreement. "In that case, let's—" Kai suddenly fell silent as though his ears picked up something. Do you find them?" "Yes." Kai nodded and pointed his finger to the north. They are that way. I don't think they have noticed us. Kai, Tasha, and Michelle suddenly got closer with a troubled face. Do you need something? Actually, we want to request one thing from you. Tasha looked away, not knowing whether Kai would accept it or not. What is it? Kai tilted his head because he couldn't understand why they acted like this. There is a high chance that Akita Kenzo will be here. Tasha and I are planning to face him, if possible, Michelle explained with a tired face. Tasha repeatedly nodded her head. That's right. We both are S-rank magicians, so we want to see how far the gap between him and us. I mean, it's true that Michelle can somehow fight Rain, the S-rank barrier master, but this is the first time we fight against an S-rank magician. I hope that you can grant us this chance. Kai closed his eyes and fell into deep thought. He seemed to have suppressed them too much. Whatever people said, these two were supposed to be S-rank magicians, yet they never had the opportunity to go face to face against them. Although they could make a comparison, they should still fight an S-rank magician to see their progress. Unfortunately, Tasha had been stuck in the back with her bow while Michelle had been his support this whole time. It seems I have wronged you this whole time. I shouldn't hog all the stages from all of you because you can't shine that way. Kai let out a long sigh. However, if I can say one selfish thing, I don't want you to get hurt. Of course, I know that you don't want me as well, so I have a proposal. You two may fight him, but we are not going anywhere. In other words, we will fight around the area to make sure that the worst wouldn't happen. Michelle and Tasha accepted it without hesitation. We understand. We shall proceed according to your plan. But he is a light magician, so I suggest not to get too close because he can attack you. I understand. 100 meters should be enough, right? Kai smiled. Yeah, she nodded. Besides, Isabel's bullet will arrive first. Michelle nodded and looked at Isabel. Don't worry. I will be watching over you guys. Isabel gave a thumb up. Thanks. Kai then nodded as his expression turned grim. All right, let's go toward them. After knowing their number, I will give you my plan. They agreed and followed him, opening the path. After several minutes, Kai finally got a good grasp of the enemy and opened his radar, showing how many people the Katsuragi family brought. First of all, there are 100 people. We can safely assume that they are elites amongst elites, hence, taking them will be hard with a few snipers among them. Isabel, get rid of them for me. Isabel gave a thumb up. They won't know who beat them. Just make sure no one gets hit before I kill all of them, okay? I will do my best. Kai nodded with a smile. Ikeda Kenzo is in the middle of their formation. Since they haven't moved this whole time, I assume they are waiting for us, so I want Sophia to see whether we are in danger or not. My eyes can tell us whether there is a trap or not, so we can approach them easily. Sophia smiled and prepared herself to kill humans. Evan, I am not sure about this, but I want you to stay beside Isabel to protect them. I am sure that they are trying to aim for her, so protect Isabel well, okay? I'm not going to beat you or something since you won't be alive since you need to explain everything to her. Kai smirked, teasing him before the battle. What? You know me well, Captain. Isabel made a big smile. For Kai and the others, it looked like a happy smile, but Evan could only see it as an ultimatum. There was no doubt that Isabel would kill him when that time came. I will do my best, Evan hurriedly replied while sweating. I will leave Akita Kenzo to you, Tasha, Michelle. Please leave it to us, they answered in unison. Aside from the fact that they wanted to see their limit, both of them actually had a goal. They knew that Kai, being a protector, would put a great burden upon everyone's shoulder. Since they were the only ones who knew about this, they thought they should be a bit more responsible than the others. Ayaka, I want you to go with me, facing them head on. I am sure that I can gather most of their group to strike me. So, you want me to make my appearance there? Ayaka narrowed her eyes. Yes, that's the plan. After that, we will start lowering their number while Michelle and Tasha fight Ikeda Kenzo. No problem. Next is Haruko. I want you to keep staring at me. The others twitched their eyebrows as Haruko chuckled. That can be easily misinterpreted, you know. But that's all to it, Kai shrugged. I will keep telling you their position, so you should intercept them every time. I am sure that they will go around us and aim from behind or our back. Your job is to eliminate them. Sure, I won't let a single of them pass. Though I can't really give you any promise since I have the largest area to cover. Haruko let out a long sigh. It's fine. There is Evan as our backup plan, right? Kai smiled at Evan. Of course, I'm a different person now. Evan nodded. With Isabel here, I don't think they can get around us. Still, the problem will be the magical beasts. Ayaka furrowed her eyebrows. This battle will surely bring a lot of magical beasts to us. Do you have any plans for this? Kai nodded. Just like us, their back is also exposed to the beasts. Hence, we can safely assume that they are trying to end this as soon as possible. There will be a few chances to exploit, and I want all of you to use it to end the battle faster. However, the beasts will surely arrive first, so I want you to deal with it on your own. Ayaka and I will quickly protect you as soon as we finish the business. Just don't kill all the beasts because we need them to eat their corpses to make it look like they die because of magical beasts. Understood? Roger. Kai and the others then started making their way toward their enemies. Kai had heard Ikeda Kenzo's voice and assured that he was among them, so he wasn't quite sure how this would turn out. Nonetheless, they had been preparing this whole time just for this. Meanwhile, there were 5 people holding their sniper rifles around Ikeda Kenzo, while the rest seemed to be busy patrolling around. I am sorry, mister, but do you think we are enough to handle them? One of the snipers asked with a serious expression. I don't know. Ikeda Kenzo shook his head. Even an S-rank magician like you has no confidence. The sniper furrowed her eyebrows. He may be just too old, another sniper commented while glaring at Ikeda Kenzo, thinking that he was lucky to stay alive until now due to the help of Katsuragi Akagi. Ikeda Kenzo didn't feel offended. Instead, he acknowledged it with a smile. Indeed, I am too old, Rig. Before he finished, his hand moved so fast to block the sudden bullet that almost hit the arrogant girl's head. I may be too old, but by no means have I slacked this whole time. Ikeda Kenzo smiled and rose to his feet, looking in Kai's direction, seeing only 6 of them. You've come. Chapter 406 Fight, You've come. Ikeda Kenzo smiled when he found Kai and the others. Kai narrowed his eyes and said, Even if you are acting because of an order, I need all of you to die here. Ho, you talk big. Is this because you are famous in the US base? Ikeda Kenzo's expression turned serious as he disappeared. It turned out that he used his fastest speed to leap toward Kai while swiping his hand that was covered in white light. Kai only stared at him without a change in his expression, as if he had expected this attack. At the same time, a scythe went around his neck before hitting Ikeda Kenzo's hand. Dark Michelle came between them while swinging her scythes. Kenzo stopped all of them with his hands. Due to the light covering them, Dark Michelle couldn't pierce his hands, but at least she had fulfilled the requirement. Meanwhile, the real Michelle, covered in black tattoos, was already next to Kenzo, swinging her sword. A white light fluctuated from his body as it formed a shield, blocking Michelle's sword. However, Michelle's strength had been boosted by the exoskeleton. It was enough to blow him away in that unstable form. Boom! Ikeda Kenzo crashed to the ground as the 2 Michelles landed not far from him. Before he could rise from the ground, Tasha had released her arrow, creating a big magic circle in the air. A bolt of blue lightning struck forth. Kenzo raised his hand as he summoned a white magic circle. A white ball emerged from it as it flew toward the lightning, leaving a white trail behind that made it look like he shot a beam instead. The ball hit the lightning directly as they pulverized each other. Your opponents are us, said Michelle while staring at Ikeda Kenzo coldly. Really? Kenzo smirked as his body released white light from his body. The second round was going to start soon. Meanwhile, Kai and Ayaka already appeared in the middle of their enemies. Do you think you are capable of defeating all 100 of us? One of them shouted while shooting a flare signal so they all could gather. We will show you what it means to be the elites from the Katsuragi family. Attack him. As long as we kill him, our mission is complete. Suddenly, 3 magic circles appeared above their heads. Kai and Ayaka raised their visions as a bolt of lightning. A fire pillar and an ice cube fell right above them. Ayaka clapped her hand and summoned her own magic circle. Scarlet explosion. Since the magic circle was above their heads, it engulfed all 3 attacks at once. Still, the enemies were better than this, as 20 of them used their own magic to attack him, while Ayaka was disturbed by the first 3 attacks. At the same time, another 20 were trying to close their distance to him. Kai analyzed their magic before activating his sonic sword. He took a deep breath and swung the sword as quickly as possible. The burst from the shockwave deflected all the magic that came to him. Luckily, Ayaka had regained her control back and created another magic circle toward the enemies coming from the right side. Fire Net. She chose Fire Net to slow down the enemies while Kai dealt with the rest. Unknown to them, they made one miscalculation. Isabel had been waiting for them to do this and released her bullets toward the left side. Because of her position, the moment the bullets pierced their first target's head, it continued toward the second person, and so on. What? Where is the sniper? The assassins from the Katsuragi family panicked for a second and shouted. Because Akita Kenzo didn't say anything about the bullets, only the snipers seemed to have noticed it and were desperately searching for Isabel's position to kill her. We are searching this entire time. One of the snipers shouted in anger. Half of the snipers are to assist us while the rest search for their... Oh! Kai didn't let him finish because he was part of the vanguard, so he killed him first before focusing on the others. Still, the order was received and the snipers shot him simultaneously. Kai simply tilted his body to the right as both bullets missed. Isabel then released another 2 bullets, killing the snipers that targeted Kai. Gah! There! The sniper is at our 2. One of the snipers shouted and slightly changed her vision to kill Isabel. But Kai used this chance to break through their formation by killing another 2 people in front of him and went straight toward the snipers, leaving Ayaka behind. He is coming. Surround him. We need reinforcement. No, half of us are going to stop him. 10 of you will kill that Kudo Ayaka, while the other 20 are to go around them and kill the sniper. She has a bodyguard next to her, so be careful. The battle turned chaotic pretty soon as Kai halted his steps after being surrounded. Meanwhile, Ayaka took a deep breath and looked at the enemies, preparing for another breakthrough to help Kai. The assassins seemed to have enough confidence that everything would go according to their way. It was true that humans were capable of high-level movement and strategy, unlike the magical beasts. And this battle looked like he challenged 100 intelligent beasts at once. But they forgot. Their target was none other than the rising star, Kai Carter. Kai snapped his finger and created a disturbing sound that took away their concentration for a split second. He used that chance to kill another 2 people. Are you sure it's a good strategy to separate your force? Isn't your target me? I am here, so kill me. Kai smirked evilly as he laughed to taunt them. The people that attacked Ayaka hesitated for a second, wondering if they should help them instead. Just like Kai, she didn't miss that chance and shot a few firebirds toward them, bombarding Kai's area. At the same time, Haruko took the same hesitation as an opportunity to make her first move. She had appeared behind the group that was going to attack Isabel and slashed 2 necks with her short swords. Isabel also took another 2 lives to help Haruko. Focus on your task. Someone seemed to be frustrated by this result. Due to Kai's reputation, his presence was very huge in this battle, making them hesitate every time. However, only some understood that Kai was nothing more than the biggest bait their enemies threw at them. To think they would use their target to be the bait, they were either confident or foolish. But with them knowing Kai's battles, they knew that Kai thought he could last for a long time under the onslaught. Haruko smiled and released a burst of wind that wounded her enemies. That wind was not an ordinary wind. It was the result of her training with Mia, a sharp wind. She took a wind blade as a reference. It could create a crescent-shaped blade of wind that could slash one's neck. But Haruko decided to make it explode as soon as it appeared, creating a powerful wind that carried its sharpness. This was a perfect move to take their attention, as well as lowering their abilities. Without a doubt, the battle would become easier for her. Kai, on the other hand, focused on his enemies instead. Due to the space between them, they came at him, 5 at a time. Kai waved his swords and blasted 3 weapons that came his way before dodging the 4th one. Unfortunately, his back was hit by a sword. Although it was too shallow for a wound, a hit was a hit. Kai clenched his teeth and spun his body, using the shock wave from his sound wave to blow them away. After that, he used his sound blast to launch himself to another side, cutting another 2 heads. "We can hit him," the one that grazed Kai shouted. "No matter how good he is, he doesn't have enough strength to kill 50 elites at the same time." Kai narrowed his eyes and changed his strategy. He relied heavily on the sound blast to toy with them. However, some of them could contain his speed and tried their best to stop him, but Kai kept killing them one by one despite being injured from time to time. This is truly hard. Even the almighty S-rank magical beast can be killed under the onslaught of so many people, so I guess this is my condition right now. Kai recalled the time when the Brazilian wandering spider was surrounded by them. Unlike the spider, he still managed to kill some of them, so it was better. If only he had the ability to kill multiple enemies at once, this battle would become easier. Never mind. As soon as Ayaka or someone else finishes their job, the situation will change. I only need to endure it for now. Chapter 417. Fight Part 2. While Kai and the others fought against the assassins, Michelle and Tasha had trouble with Ikeda Kenzo. They had underestimated the power of this old man. Pant Michelle looked at Kenzo with a tired face, while the dark Michelle suffered the same condition. They both were exhausted because of the constant fight against him. To think you are this powerful, Michelle said with a smirk. Of course, Ikeda Kenzo wasn't that much better than Michelle. Wounds covered his body and blood dyed the skin red. Despite being able to move faster since he was under the sun, Michelle managed to keep him at bay as Tasha managed to land a few hits during the battle. You two are less than 20 years old, but this powerful. This old man wants to retire just imagining it. He let out a long sigh. What the heck are you saying? She is almost 21 years old. Michelle pointed at Tasha with a poker face. Ho ho, is that so? Kenzo smiled and raised his hands. He summoned a light ball that suddenly shattered as if something cut it 3 times, turning the original 1 ball into 8 pieces. Light bullets. Dark Michelle used her scythes to destroy 4 of them, while the real Michelle leaped to the side. What? Michelle frowned when she noticed that the 2 balls that almost hit her turned around, chasing after her. Knowing that running was useless, she slashed the 2 balls without hesitation. As for Tasha, she simply raised her hand and created a pink shield, enveloping the 2 balls with a translucent pink mucus, as if it was coated in a strawberry flavor silicone. She grabbed both spheres and threw them to Ikeda Kenzo. Kenzo noticed the difference in his light ball and quickly erected a barrier for himself, only to find it was the correct decision. When it almost reached him, Tasha deactivated the coating and exploded the magic bullets. You are truly using interesting magic this whole time. Your lightning magic is powerful, but that weird magic is far more dangerous, praised Kenzo while looking at his surroundings. He noticed that Kai and others had killed 1/3 of their numbers. With the magical beasts approaching, he really needed to end this as soon as possible. Alas, the talks he had been doing until now were to buy himself time to catch a breath. He thought, my age is not suitable to fight anymore. Just surrender. We will kill you painlessly, Michelle harumphed. Besides, if you don't bring trouble to us anymore, we will spare the Ikeda family. Isn't this what you want? I'm sure that a man of your caliber can see that you have no chance of winning against us. Unless you are mobilizing the entire United Asia, there's no way you can defeat our US base. Indeed, but this old man fights for his own ideal. So I hope that the 2 misses can forgive this old man, because I will fight to the bitter end. He smiled. Tasha, Michelle shouted. Spatial lock, magic field. Tasha created a huge pink magic circle before a pink half-sphere was erected. It spans 30 meters in radius, making it look quite big. It barely reached the other battlefield. Kenzo frowned and raised his hand. A white magic circle appeared as he shot out a white beam toward the barrier, only to find it was engulfed by the pink barrier as though it was a bottomless pit. You won't be able to penetrate this barrier. Tasha smiled. This was one of the magic Rapaka taught her. Although it didn't have offensive power, the barrier could practically seal any attacks that came into their way. However, it required a huge amount of magic power. So even Tasha couldn't maintain this barrier for a long time, despite having most of Kai's magic power. Michelle understood what she needed to do since they had talked about it before fighting him. She placed her hand on the ground as a black magic circle emerged. It released a dark shadow that enveloped the barrier. Due to the lack of offensive power, the barrier didn't seal the shadow magic, so this was a perfect chance to seal Ikeda Kenzo's power. The moment the shadow enveloped everything, no one could see anything inside the barrier. However, Tasha already put on her night vision while Michelle never had trouble to begin with. On the other hand, Ikeda Kenzo tried to create a light ball to illuminate the darkness, but to no avail. "You better prepare your grave, old man." Michelle smirked. Her voice echoed inside the barrier, making it hard to locate her. Meanwhile, the dark Michelle had been moving this entire time, successfully going around Kenzo. The moment she saw an opening, dark Michelle launched all 4 scythes toward him. "Die!" "Shadow slash!" Michelle shouted as she released 2 sword strikes toward Kenzo in order to take his attention. Unfortunately, Ikeda Kenzo seemed to haven't used all his might this whole time. He raised both hands and waved them vertically, creating 2 crescent-shaped lights. It turned out that the 2 hit Dark Michelle's 4 scythes simultaneously before blowing it away. Dark Michelle prevented the scythes from hitting the barrier, while Kenzo's attacks vanished as soon as they hit the barrier. At the same time, he stopped Michelle's shadow slashes with only his fingers before snapping it into 2. "You shouldn't be too reliant on your eyes alone," said Kenzo as he closed his eyes. In other words, he had been able to sense all the attacks coming into his way, so this dark misadvantage was nothing. "Yeah, and you should know that this is my turf." Michelle's power ricocheted because there was no sun inside this barrier, allowing her to use the full potential of her shadow possession. Kenzo's hands were enveloped in light as he began to clash with Michelle's swords and scythes. Huffed. While she was hitting Kenzo's finger, Michelle's breath became even vaguer, as if she gradually became one with the darkness. Despite how intense the fight had become, Michelle's head and heart became cooler and cooler until one point. Zap! A fast stab pierced Kenzo's shoulder. He opened his eyes and pushed her away before leaping back. "No wonder you are strong. So, this is your trump card. Not only will this place seal most of my power, but it will also strengthen you. If I'm not wrong, the other girl's magic is not space magic. Instead, it's sealing magic. To be honest, this is more dangerous than space magic because you can literally compress air and seal it as a bomb, but I guess there is a limitation to do that." She then sealed the air around this area and turned them into a barrier which allowed her to stop all my attacks. "I thought you were smart, but I guess you were a fool." Michelle shook her head in disappointment. What Kenzo said was true, but there was no way that she would admit it, right? Instead of talking, she decided to pressure him again to prevent him from assessing his situation. However, Kenzo only took this as another advantage as he spoke. "I see. There is something wrong with the barrier, and it's not like my guess was wrong. Since the sealing magic girl hasn't shot another arrow this whole time, there must be a weakness to this barrier. It's either that it's too consuming for you to do another activity, or physical attack is the one that works." Once Kenzo said those words, he grasped Michelle's wrist in exchange for a stab on the side of his stomach before throwing her toward the edge of the barrier. Tasha clenched her teeth and teleported right before Michelle and stopped her from hitting the barrier. At the same time, Kenzo smirked. "Found you." He placed his hand on the ground as a giant white circle appeared, enveloping him with light. Just like Michelle's possession, Ikeda Kenzo had one that could forcefully raise his strength during the dark. Michelle felt dread as she and her dark persona charged at him together. Kenzo took this chance and increased his speed to the limit so he could reach Tasha's location before turning in another direction, breaking through the barrier with his physical body. His voice then echoed on the battlefield, alarming everyone. "We lost. Retreat." On the contrary to the attention it brought, Tasha was more concerned about another thing as she roared after feeling that her chest was touched by the old man. "What's the problem with that old man? He dared to sexually harass me?" However, Michelle had a different opinion when she looked at her. There was under a note in Tasha's pocket as she quickly scanned the area, finding that the old man had escaped. Since Kai would be able to pursue him, Michelle decided to check the note first before informing Kai. She walked toward Tasha and grabbed the note. "What are you?" When Tasha was about to erupt, she noticed the paper in Michelle's hand. "What is that?" "This must be the note he stuck on you." "Because of our clothes? Only yours have a pocket." She pointed her at her chest before shaking it. "And accidentally touched this big melon of yours." Tasha clenched her fists and took a deep breath. After knowing the real reason, she became calmer before asking, "What's in the note?" Michelle shook her head in confusion as she also let Tasha see. The moment she opened the note, the two couldn't help but suck a cold breath. This is impossible," Michelle muttered in shock. Chapter 418, Good news. Kai turned around and frowned as the assassins began to retreat. Should we chase them, Kai? Ayaka asked with a serious expression. It seems Tasha has gotten something. I'm going to check her condition first before deciding our next move. Kai shook his head and walked toward Tasha and Michelle. Ayaka followed him from behind while signaling the group to gather. During the fight, they managed to kill more than 50 people from the Katsuragi family. Considering they were all elites, it should become quite a big blow to them. When Kai and Ayaka arrived, Tasha and Michelle stared at him before handing the paper to Ayaka. Curious, Kai took a peek at the letter and widened his eyes in shock. Even Ayaka couldn't help but cry, hoping it was true. When everyone saw this paper, they would see the bigger line written on it. Kudo Taro is alive. No wonder that everyone was shocked. It told them that Ayaka's grandfather, Kudo Taro, didn't die back then. This is a lie. Ayaka wanted to burn the paper, not wanting to see Hope, albeit she didn't have the power to do so, because deep inside her heart, she still wished to see her grandfather. Look at this. Kai pointed at the smaller words beneath that sentence. It was a series of one-word puzzles, but Kai could feel that it was telling them something. Ikeda. Basement. Safe. No. Speak. Camera. What does it mean? Tasha furrowed her eyebrows while trying to come up with something. However, Kai already understood the message. He quickly used his sound insulation magic, so no sound could be heard from them. I don't know if this is wrong or right, but I think Ikeda Kenzo wanted to tell us that Ayaka's grandfather is still alive. He is currently inside the Ikeda family's basement, and yeah, he is safe and sound there. I feel like he is safe, because the Ikeda family is the ally of the Katsuragi family. At the same time, he couldn't speak anything, because there were many eyes looking at him, and yeah, he himself might have a hidden camera in his body to make sure he didn't betray them. However, everything became possible when Michelle used the dark room. The camera was blind for a few minutes. After gaining some trust as he kept fighting, Ikeda Kenzo could mask himself as one of the Katsuragi family's allies while giving you this message. Kai furrowed his eyebrows. I don't know if this is wrong or not, but I believe it's worth checking. The only problem is whether we can go there or not. With the loss of so many elites, I'm sure that Katsuragi Akagi will put Ikeda Kenzo in close supervision. Hence, even though there is a possibility of Kudo Taru's is alive, we can't move. Kai let out a long sigh. Then, doesn't that mean Ikeda Kenzo is not their ally? Michelle furrowed her eyebrows, feeling something was a bit suspicious. Probably so. I have met him in the past, and know that he is an eccentric man. The reason he joined Katsuragi family's side was his health and the lack of a successor, so he couldn't afford to die just yet. Kai shook his head helplessly. In addition, he once spared my and Tasha's lives when we tried to infiltrate the Katsuragi family. His belief seems to remain the same. Tasha added his point before looking at Kai. What are we going to do? I think. Kai turned his head toward Ayaka and waited for her to respond. She must have gotten a big hit when she saw this news. Unfortunately, she couldn't do anything at the moment. The others had regrouped with them as they were confused with Ayaka's expression. The latter closed her eyes for a few seconds before taking a deep breath. I will go according to our schedule. Are you sure? Kai asked. His voice was gentle and filled with worries. Ayaka shook her head and smiled. I would be lying if I said I don't want to go there, but I needed to see the bigger picture and learn that the highest chance we could rescue my grandfather was to follow your schedule. Our current strength was not enough to challenge all of them, and your reputation would take a big hit during this time, so I wanted you to believe me that. I'm fine. Kai stretched his hand, wiping her tears. Although a little hesitant, Kai ultimately nodded his head. I understand, but don't overdo it, all right? Yes, there will be a time when I will rescue my grandfather, showing him that I have grown up. Ayaka smiled. Besides, I believe that I can do it in 1 or 2 years. In other words, I will just wait for the same amount of time I have spent in the US base. That's not a big deal, and grandfather is young enough to not die from old age. Yeah, I promise you that we will rescue your grandfather in the near future. Kai smiled. Just wait a bit more, okay? Ayaka nodded in understanding. Though, can we postpone our plan for an hour or two? Kai agreed without hesitation. Of course, take all the time you need. Thanks. Ayaka smiled and walked to a nearby tree. She dropped on her butt and leaned on the tree while covering her face with her knees. Although there was a choice to go a little bit farther, she didn't want the others to think that she would disappear just like that. It would be unfair to Kai. Anyway, what are you planning with this information, Kai? Tasha asked with a grim expression. One misstep might turn the entire situation upside down, so she needed to hear his plan first. Don't worry, I won't tell anyone other than our group. Even Ayaka's parents are included. In the future, I will mobilize a small army to attack the Katsuragi family, while someone in this group will help me rescue him. This way, no one will be able to leak our plan. Kai smiled. Tasha thought for a moment and agreed before stepping down. Kai then turned to Haruko. Don't investigate the Aikida family because there is a possibility of them sniffing out our intention. I understand. Isabel, I hope that you two can keep this a secret. I consider Ayaka as a friend. Since she decided to wait, I wouldn't be that foolish to even say something like that. Isabel's expression was serious, and her voice was genuine. After getting along together for more than a year, she had understood everyone in the Lion group. I don't need to worry then. Kai contemplated for a few minutes before muttering. For now, Sophia also needs to stay silent because this will cause a big eruption from the EU base. After all, this matter is closely related to me, so they will surely not let it pass. Besides, I'm going to go there soon, so it will just create an unending problem. Kai let out a long sigh before his expression returned to normal. I believe we should get going soon. After Ayaka recovers, we will head straight to all places with dense populations. Although I will be in charge of the plan, I want Isabel to be the leader of this operation with Michelle as her deputy. It's training time. Isabel widened her eyes. Kai seemed to have a lot of confidence in his plan to allow her to become the leader. Nonetheless, it was only for the fight, so she didn't need to think that hard. I understand. I shall accept the position. Please take care of me. Michelle also acknowledged Kai's words and looked at Isabel. I will deal with the front. You are commanding the back. Sure thing. Isabel nodded. Evan, Sophia, and Tasha will be with me. Kai and Ayaka will be under me then. Isabel nodded and asked, What's the plan? I will wait for Ayaka to finish her business first. Kai shook his head. Besides, the magical beasts are following Ikeda Kenzo and the assassins, so our position is relatively safe. We only need to wait and create a good strategy to handle them, and my ears are still listening to their movements. The group then decided to have a break until Ayaka finished crying. After crying for 30 minutes, her heart felt relieved, as if a big burden disappeared from her shoulders. Ayaka truly carried such a big burden when the Kudo family was chased out of the base. But everything didn't matter anymore, as she knew that her grandfather didn't die. As long as the Aikida family took care of her grandfather, she could rescue him sooner or later. In fact, the only reason she could become this calm was due to the rate of Kai's growth. In just a mere 2 years, Kai managed to become a general, so she thought there wouldn't be anyone to stop him after another 2 years. This way, no opposition would appear if he moved the army to help. Ayaka took a deep breath before tying her hair into a ponytail. She summoned her spear again and gradually rose from the ground, walking back to Kai and the others. Although her eyes looked a bit swollen, they could see the resolve and calmness in her eyes, so Kai gave permission for her to continue their mission. I'm sorry for making you all wait. Ayaka bowed to apology. I will do my best during the 3rd year too, so please take care of me. Don't worry, I can assure you that the situation will be solved within 2 years. Kai smiled and nodded. He then looked at the others and smiled. All right, with Ayaka here, let's talk about our plan in conquering this place. Chapter 419, Construction. Kai, Michelle shouted as a new group of 5 appeared on the battlefield. Kai turned around and found 5 tigers leaping toward them in unison. He simply used his sound blast to reach their position before killing them in one stroke. Michelle, 10 left. Kai pointed at the remaining 10 before letting out a breath of relief. We are done here. Let's go back and have lunch. Michelle and Dark Michelle cut those beasts simultaneously before the Dark Michelle disappeared. Though she didn't forget to say, I love you to Kai. Tasha teleported them to their base immediately, since they needed to prepare food. Their base was next to the hill which covered one side, so they didn't need to worry about it during the night, and focused their attention on the other side. They set up a tent under 3 trees that were cool enough for them to relax during the day. Who is in charge again? Kai asked. Me. Tasha raised a hand. Anyway, we have chicken meat this time, and I think Ayaka has found some vegetables in the mountain. How about the rest of our supplies? We used a bit more salt than we expected. It doesn't matter then. Tasha shrugged. What they brought to this place were only spices, since Tasha and Michelle could cook. Ayaka, Isabel, and Kai could do it as well, but their cooking couldn't be compared to those two. They really put it all into this. All right. Kai prepared the ingredients, while Tasha cooked most of them. It only took her half an hour to finish cooking an extravagant meal, which everybody liked. After eating, Kai turned to Michelle. That's right, how is our progress? We have killed more than 100,000 monsters in this area. As for the area, I think we have cleared twice of your hearing range. I'm not sure about this either. That's good enough. Kai nodded with a serious expression, as if this was normal. Meanwhile, Haruko still had the same reaction, despite being with them for a whole week. If this were the past her, she would have jumped out of fear. The number was just impossible, but if one took another look at it, they had 2 S-rank magicians and 1 genius general. If they had an army, they would have progressed more than they could imagine. Unfortunately, this was United Asia's territory, not the US bases. She simply sighed and kept listening to their conversation. When is the reinforcement going to arrive? Kai asked another question. I have sent this signal to grandfather, so we can safely assume that they have gotten it. According to the information, United Asia has prepared their materials to make a small base and waited for our signal. I think they will arrive soon. That's good then. At least, they trust us enough to send the army, since the US base can't really prove that we can complete this mission. They will still doubt our strength, because we only have 7 people here. Yeah. Anyway, I have another report for. Before she finished, Kai put his hand on his mouth as if he heard something. Finally, they have come. Kai opened his eyes and smiled. He then turned to Tasha. Show them our location. Sure. Tasha nodded and rose from her seat. She raised her vision and pulled her bow upward before releasing an arrow that created an explosion in the sky. Boom. Kai nodded with a smile, as he was sure that those people had received their message before continuing the report. Not long after that, Kai rose from his seat and turned around, finding many people starting to come out of the wood. Kai saw a snake on this guy's shoulder and recognized this symbol. He recalled the teacher that accompanied him to the US base, Shirotsuka Sanae. Unlike the US base that adopted the US Army system, United Asia emphasized 8 groups instead. Snake Group was one of the most powerful groups in the base, so he should be able to expect something from them. Surprisingly, Kai found another group in the mix. It was a turtle. From the way that these two walked, they seemed to have the same power. The one from the Snake Group was a male with long light green hair tied into a ponytail. His expression was grim while staring at him as he walked. The other one was a female with short black hair. Unlike him, her expression was flat, as if she wasn't interested in whatever they were doing. Kai also began to walk and greeted them. Nice to meet you. We have gotten the information from the government. The male nodded. I am Yaku, just Yaku, a commander from the Snake Army. I have been tasked to supervise the entire construction. Kai shook his hand. I'm Kai Carter. I'm sure that you have heard of me being the helper of this operation. My mission is to stay for 1 more week here, so I will help the protection team. Hearing the word protection, the woman stretched her hand as she greeted him. I'm Okuda Yoriko from the Turtle Group. My mission is to protect the construction. Ah, I see. I will be working with you then. Kai nodded. For now, I should give you information about our progress. Indeed, we would like to hear that. Before that, how are the materials? We have enough to construct a simple base within 2 months. We can upgrade that base later after sending more people here. After all, we can't really bring everyone here because we don't know about your real strength, only your reputation that has been spread by the US base. Yaku explained his and everyone's doubts. Kai nodded in understanding. He had expected this, so he continued. Our progress isn't that good. During the past week, we can only kill around 100,000 magical beasts around this area. After calculating the landscape and other things, I have made a slight adjustment to the position and chosen this place as my base. If you want, you can inspect the land a bit more and ask your superior about it. Or you can even go back to the original location. I don't mind. Wah! Instead of amazed by Kai's vision, both Yaku and Yoriko were focused on his kill count. 100,000 beasts in just a week? And they only had 8 people to boot? Yaku and Yoriko were speechless, unable to comprehend how they did it. Although there was a chance of him lying, both knew that a portion of it was the truth. After all, for the past 10 kilometers from this area, they didn't encounter any single magical beasts, which meant that Kai's group had slaughtered them. Did you kill them all? Yaku couldn't help but ask for confirmation. Yeah, I killed them. Kai nodded with a poker face. Anyway, I would like to focus on the construction instead of this. Can we? Ahem. Yaku coughed to clear his throat and calm his heart down before apologizing. I'm sorry for my remark. Certainly, we can discuss the construction plan. Although I need to inspect the landscape once again, I would like to apologize if, in the end, this place can't be used. After all, we have a different terrain, which results in a different design for the military base. Yes, I know, I'm just suggesting it. You can even create a mini base here, while using the original location as your main base. Kai nodded. Thank you. He smiled before opening the blueprint as well as the map. This is, Yaku began explaining the entire plan for the construction before inspecting their current position. Unfortunately, Kai's judgment might be true, but the government didn't take his suggestion because the current blueprint was unusable and they needed another 2 weeks to finish it. By that time, the magical beasts might have migrated to the area that Kai cleared and began to swarm them. Yaku kept apologizing to him because of this order, even though the latter didn't mind it at all. While the two guys discussed their plan, Michelle decided to talk with Yoriko. Of course, Tasha became the translator here. The device might be able to recognize the voice and became an auto-translator, but it was easier to hear it from Tasha. They talked about the defense area and the group's current progress, showing that they had opened a 10-kilometer radius of open space without a single magical beast in it. Michelle didn't forget to mention the fact that the area would be soon filled with beasts again, but Yoriko had created a suitable plan to sustain this project until they finished the construction. According to her, the base spared them 1,000 workers and 30,000 soldiers. She planned to increase that number a bit more to make it even safer. Michelle didn't reject that idea since it meant that Kai could relax a little bit. After that, Michelle proposed several plans which originated from Kai and the others. Ultimately, it took them 3 hours just to finish their discussion. Kai also ended the talk not long after. Luckily, Kai asked Yaku to unload the material first while they talked, so they could immediately start after the agreement. It was closed by the handshake of two sides, as Kai left everything in Yaku's hand before working with Yoriko. And once again, Yoriko was speechless when Kai took over as the strategist, showing his 2 years of experiences that were worth more than a decade due to how hard each battle was. They then started guarding the mission for another week before leaving the battlefield with teleportation magic while camouflaging it as new transportation from the US base. Chapter 420, Earthquake Somewhere in California. A red-haired man walked down the street with his girlfriend. Do you want to visit the coast before going home? Sure. The girl agreed with a smile. It was a peaceful day just like any other. However, it soon changed when the girl suddenly dropped to the side as if someone tripped her, despite the fact that no one was beside her other than her boyfriend. Kaya! Wah! The man widened his eyes before his knees were shaken due to some sort of energy from the ground. What is hap? Before he finished, he saw the closest tall building near his position began swaying left and right. Earthquake! Shouted the boy as he hugged his girlfriend, trying to protect her. Ah! The girl screamed out loud, panicked. She ended up hugging him tightly. Everything began to shake before all the people, vehicles, and any other things that moved came to a halt. Bang, bang, boom. Many people crashed due to the earthquake, and some even exploded. Screams of the people filled the entire area as they tried to take a cover in this messy situation. The ground kept shaking for a few minutes. Cracks began to appear and some buildings had collapsed. People were panicking everywhere, but it was hard for them to move due to this earthquake. Explosions began to ring in their ears one after another. The people only hoped to stay alive in this situation before they could even search for an escape route. After a total of 5 minutes, The ground stopped shaking, and the people looked around them, finding so many red lights coming from afar. It brightened the sky red and covered the cloud with its own black smoke. What is happening? The boy drew a gasp as he didn't have enough strength to stand up. Suddenly, everyone felt the vibration from their device. Emergency situation. 9. 2 megathrust earthquake. High probability of tsunami. All citizens in California are ordered to migrate to higher ground or far from the coast, as the tsunami has a high chance of bringing magical beasts from the sea. What? This is a mess, the girl shouted and dropped her device on the ground, seeing the unrealistic number. Far! We need to get into the higher ground as soon as possible. Hurry up! More and more people started to react and brought the closest people with them, trying to flee from the tsunami. Crack, 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 crack. Suddenly, a series of cracking sounds echoed as the people near that place could see a huge crack on the ground. It spread to all directions, had the size of 10 meters in radius, and kept getting bigger. Out of the way! Run! They, especially the ones above the crack, panicked and ran with their lives, knowing something bad would happen if they didn't escape. Unfortunately, their luck was too low, as the ground crumbled as if swallowed by the earth. It didn't stop there. Countless screams resounded and got louder and louder before rats, ants, and many other animals that were living underground suddenly escaped from the hole, terrorizing everyone in the area. They killed all the humans in sight without any exception. When everyone thought that the situation couldn't get any worse, the crack became even bigger before a giant brown-colored mole emerged from within. Despite only showing half of its body, the mole already reached 5 meters high. When the couple's eyes intertwined with the mole, their faces became pale. Unfortunately, they didn't have a chance to even scream as the mole swiped its claw, creating a powerful shockwave that cut them into few pieces along with the building. Behind them, meanwhile, in the airplane, Kai and the others had the chance to talk with each other since the first class could turn the seats around and hide the compartments. Huffed. That's a lot of work. Kai let out a long sigh. Indeed, Michelle agreed while leaning on the chair. To think we needed to kill so many magical beasts, even with the help of the turtle group. To be honest, that turtle group deserved its reputation, as even I couldn't find an army like that other than Sir Ethan's army. Isabel recalled their fight together and praised them. You probably should include General Rain's army since he has enough reputation. Though I don't have any experience with his army. Sophia nodded. Haha, indeed. Evan nodded as he sat on the seat's handle since only 4 of them had a seat. The same applied to Ayaka since she sat next to Kai. At least, we will have enough time to rest before. Kai suddenly fell silent and looked at his right, specifically the sky beyond the window. Kai! The group frowned, thinking it was a flying beast. However, Kai's answer came in the form of a shout before grabbing Ayaka's body. Isabel, grab Evan. Anyone who hears me, hang on to your seat right away. This is an order from Brigadier General Kai Carter. The people were confused, as some of them followed what he said instinctively, while some even shouted, questioning him, albeit no one finished their sentence because the airplane turned, left to the extreme as the plane was turned almost 90 degrees. People also began to scream as some of them fell to the side of the cabin, getting injured due to the collisions. After that one turn, the captain quickly reported what just happened. Everyone tightens your seatbelts and follows our crew's instruction if we want to survive. Although panicked, the crews gritted their teeth and shouted, fasten your seatbelt, grab your mask, put on you first before helping the others. The people tried to follow the instruction with their shaking hands. Luckily, the plane had returned to normal after that single turn. However, the people panicked when they saw 2 fighter aircrafts flying beside them. Kai grabbed the mask and put it on Ayaka before loosening his seatbelt so Ayaka didn't get thrown again. Meanwhile, he tried to calm his heart down before rising from his seat, walking straight to the pilot cabin. There were 2 crews on his way, but Kai only shouted, I'm Brigadier General Kai Carter. I need to meet the captain. They instinctively made way for him as Kai banged the door while shouting, this is Brigadier General Kai Carter. I need to know our situation. The 3rd pilot, which was the reserve pilot, opened the door for him after recognizing his face from the media. Of course, this wasn't possible normally. Only someone as famous as him could have this special treatment. Kai stormed inside the cockpit and asked, who is the captain? Give me the headset too. I need to know our situation. The co-pilot turned around and recognized his face. He grabbed his own headset and handed it to him. Sir, Kai nodded and wore the headset while asking, Are we connected to them? The captain nodded. We don't know the situation right now. They are threatening us to make a quick turn to the left. Let me talk to them. Kai nodded. This is Kai Carter. Name yourself, pilots. This is Major Roy speaking. I'm sorry, Sir Kai Carter. I don't know if you are inside the airplane, but the situation is chaotic. This is a direct order from Lieutenant General Shepard. I need to know the situation. We just got hit by an earthquake with the power of 9. 2 megathrusts. Too many casualties. But the real reason you are not allowed to pass California is the after effect. The control tower is also destroyed, so we can only afford to do this to contact the airplane. Tsunami? No. Kai Carter narrowed his eyes. There are thousands of magical beasts coming out of a hole next to the coast. The military is moving right now, and we will be escorting you to go around California and head to the Wyoming International Airport through Washington. The number? Yes. They are multiplying continuously. I'm afraid there are already more than 100,000 magical beasts. No one predicted the earthquake? I'm not sure, sir. This is not my scope. I understand. Kai thought for a moment and asked, If I were to ask you to escort me near the coast, would you follow my orders? I'm afraid not, sir. I can't disobey my command. Contact the headquarters right now. I need this plane to bring me near the coast and have them descend low enough for me and everyone else to jump. I will handle the rest. Art. The pilot was hesitant at first, but soon followed his command, contacting their headquarters and saying what Kai asked him. Kai already knew the answer from their conversation, but still waited for the pilot to say it. The headquarters can't allow that, sir. However, if you still wish to do that, we are allowed to escort you 5 kilometers away from the coast and lower our altitude for you to jump. And only if you and your group are doing it together. I understand. That's enough for me. Kai nodded. This accident reminded him of the thing that happened to him more than a decade ago. It was also the coast at that time. But this one was a natural disaster since it was an earthquake. At the same time, with that distance and altitude, he should be able to reach the coast with several teleportation magic. Tasha alone should be enough to send them there before reaching the sea. Roger that. We shall escort you to the dropping point. I asked the pilot to follow us. The pilot nodded. Do any of you have a radio to contact the military? Kai asked. We have one. The reserve pilot nodded and tried to reach the pilot before giving it to him. Thanks. It's time for me to go, and you don't need to worry about the door. I have someone with teleportation magic. Kai thanked the pilots with a serious expression before returning to his group. When he returned, his group, crews and passengers looked at him with a pale face. Everything will be all right. There are 2 escorts. Calm the others as well. Kai waved his hand while informing them. He then told another thing to his teammates. Tasha, ready for teleportation magic. We need to go. Visit and read more novel to help us update chapter quickly. Thank you so much.